everybody. Good morning. Welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio here on our Sunday morning tradition, continuing on in our 15th year here on the Couch Potato Sports Show, enjoying what's going on. Some special announcements coming up as we will be broadcasting live from Las Vegas. Don't have the spot yet, but we will be broadcasting. I think we got the idea of the spot, since the other one did not answer my emails. I might have to call them directly and find out. But I think the worst case scenario, we got it all set. I think we're going to have a good place and it'll be a lot of fun. That being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Each and every Sunday, bring them up. See, I'm wobbling. I'm a wobbling. Good morning. It is the Podfather. How you doing, my friend?
Can you lower your voice a little bit? I got a headache that's still kind of grinding right now, so I just took some medicine. 4 Advil should knock it out. So can you just talk it low right now?
I know. By the way, I'm pissed at you.
Why?
Yeah, I'm pissed at you. No, and I did not mention this in the few minutes that we had.
No, you did not. This is news to me.
I'm pissed at you
because
well, you go online in your magnificent self and make mention. By the way, background looking pretty good, and stuff.
Yeah, I've been improving some stuff.
That's why I'm pissed at you. So.
Why? Because
you go online. Would you go online? What did you post when you went online?
I posted that I tried the root beer ice cream once, and God, it was awful. Mm-hmm. Not really. No, that's pretty good.
About your background, what did you post?
Well, you can see her. I can turn the.
No, I know. But you made a post about it. Your post.
What did I post?
You got your room done, and
it's still working with it. I'm still adding to it. So,
yeah. But thanks to what? You made your purchases thanks to what?
Amazon helped me out with a lot of this stuff. But Hobby Lobby of all places.
Yeah. You punk. You punk.
Why?
Yeah, you punk, because your post cost me 2.5 hours in freaking Hobby Lobby yesterday. I just want to
I'm right though.
Yeah.
I'm right though.
Yeah, you killed me because you said 75%. I mentioned it to my wife, and then guess where we end up? Not more than 20 minutes later after I make the mention, I'm stuck in a freaking Hobby Lobby. And the thing about Hobby Lobby, there ain't no damn chairs in the Hobby Lobby, so I'm standing around there. And it was like 2.5 hours we were stuck in there in a freaking Hobby Lobby, and I'd like to thank you for that, you punk.
Well, it's not my fault that your wife likes me and likes to do what I say out there.
No, she does not necessarily. Now, that being said,
she loves me, and you know it.
That being said, that was my Hobby Lobby purchase right there.
It's funny because a lot of right behind me where my wife's kind of glaring, found that Top Gun poster right there.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. I got. Over here, I got one of R2-D2 looking down at Goguru, the little baby Yoda. Got one of the Millennium Falcon over here. Then right in front of me, I've got what I've got on Amazon, which is Rocky, the Blues Brothers, Quint from Jaws, Darth Vader, and Jaws poster. So and of course, up top, I got all these tins that came up with all sorts of movie stuff. Got the Blues Brothers, Jaws, Porky's, Airplane, Demolition Man, Back to the Future, Shawshank Redemption. And I got Cheers and a few other ones. It's just this is a room I've always wanted to have. Unfortunately, I have a last place trophy up there as well.
Yeah, by the way.
Yeah, by the way,
I was talking to my people, MIPEEPLE. We're going to be working on it. You'll get it within the next 3 weeks, so you should be happy about that. So there you go. So hopefully, we'll get that.
Damn time.
Yeah, so we'll get that sent out to you and get that all set. By the way, bow to the master. I got to bow to the master in the Pick'em League. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
And this is, I I'm not an art connoisseur, but this
Really?
this is fine art right here, and I've had many or many sizes of this. This is the biggest size one, so I got that at Hobby Lobby, and of course that wasn't on sale for the 75% off, or I would have been in
Yeah.
heavy up. But that wasn't bad. This was only $40. So when I moved the last time, I forgot it on the wall, but it was a lot smaller.
Hmm.
So I got it replaced, and so I'm back in my happy land with that. So, but interesting thing here. So we're going to kind of so first of all, Couch Potato Sports Show being brought to you by Mint Mobile. $15 a month. How about that? And then after you do the initial $45, you get a bill for a year for $120, guys. Let me tell you something. Not having to pay a telephone bill for over a year is awesome. I don't have to worry. See, I don't have to worry about paying the bill. So this works out perfect. Check it out, Mint Mobile. We appreciate their sponsorship here up on the show. We're gonna roll through that, and I'll talk to you a little bit later in about a month about the Mint Mobile situation, what we're going on as far as that is concerned. But proud to have them, and thank to have them as well. So that being said, crazy week in sports, right? I mean, there's been a lot of things that have been going on, and we're actually going to start in basketball. All right. Because, yeah, I know, kind of crazy, But before we get to your Mavericks, okay, we had uh, a death as far as
Hmm.
guys that have made the NBA what they are before Jordan, before all the guys. Jerry West passed away here just this past week. Those that don't know, he is the logo of the NBA. He
Hmm.
was holding all the records before Jordan started tearing into him and everything else. So much so, there was question: should Michael Jordan be the logo for the NBA? All that talk and that was happening, years back.
I've heard Kobe Bryant's name mentioned on that too.
And I've heard Kobe as well. The reason why Jordan would have been the one that they would be talking about the most is more in the fact of, the Nike business portion of it. What is being done, as far as the millions and millions, okay, of outside interests of the NBA that keeps it relevant, with the shoes and all that stuff. And yeah, here it is right here. Get the little thing. Averaged 30 points a game in 7 different playoff runs, an achievement only held and surpassed by one Michael Jordan. So I mean, this guy was Jordan before Jordan became Jordan, but more Jordan is more dynamic, obviously, than a Jerry West during the day. Now, Jerry West was a little bit before our days and everything. So actually being able to see him actually play, you only can see it on YouTube, which I did. I mean, went back, watched it. I mean, the guy was very graceful at what he does and things of that sort. So passing to Jerry West, I don't know if you know anything about Jerry West as far as your dealings with, but knowing what the NBA is and how it is, kind of, plateaued into where it is now. It's guys like Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, back in those days where they're setting the standard of what the game is, and now it's a total different game right now. And I think as a Podfather, he is
I'm here. I'm here.
You're frozen, it looks like. There you go. You gotta love that wonderful Ardmar cable company that you got going on out there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's almost me or you, but yeah, it does this every once in a while. No, look, I mean, Jerry West, a major key player in the NBA, and the logo. I mean, let's face it.
Absolutely.
But 90. No, I'm sorry, 86. So do I was trading now one or the other, but he's a while and part of the Lakers and they're dying. And hey,
Okay.
this is all.
I'm gonna hop in just to let you know you don't know. You are really bad buffering. I don't know if it's your computer or if it's the thing. I don't know if you want to hop.
It's probably Wi-Fi. I'll check it out.
Yeah, either that or hop onto your computer portion to where it's wired. It might be a little better. I don't
I
know.
am on my computer version. Thanks a
Oh,
lot.
you are.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, but that being
Okay.
said, the Lakers and everything, what they're doing, Jerry West being kind of the ambassador of the NBA before Jordan and everybody else that took over the sport and made it to what we're watching today. Good, bad, or indifferent, it's still a $1 billion industry that is having success and things of that sort. And as the generations go by, we see a different
How's
style
this
of
better?
basketball, huh?
This better?
Little. But at least
Little?
at least you're moving around. At least I can see you, so you're not buffering, so you're good. You're like on a 2-second delay, and we'll live with that 2 seconds. So,
All right.
but that being said, the Lakers, what they're doing and getting all set and ready to go. JJ Redick, ready and has. By the way, when I made this, he was reportedly set up for the interview. He has interviewed with the Lakers now. So that's a guy that's being brought in. There was a guy that they interviewed that I forget who it was, and he's not going to take the job. I forget who
Yeah,
it
it was
was.
the guy from Yukon.
From where? Oh
Yukon.
yeah,
The
yeah,
guy
the
from
Yukon.
Yukon.
Yes, yeah. So he's not going to take the job. He's going to go back, and it's a name I've heard of. I just can't remember the name
Yeah.
out of the top of that. But
Do you want to have that hell where you're going onto a team you have no say, none whatsoever?
say that again.
Do you really want to go to a team where you have no say?
It's good point. A good point because we've seen everything that's going on with LeBron James kind of being the guy that is all the moving pieces, right? As far as what he's all about and what they do, as far as the team is concerned. Um, I don't necessarily, me personally, I don't think that's necessarily a job in reality whether it's anybody if you are a guy that's hard nosed or headstrong. But if you're weak minded, that's a great job for you. You want someone to make decisions for you. That's a great job for you,
Which
and
is why
things of that.
JJ Redick is the right guy for it because he's pretty weak minded.
I I don't know much about JJ Redick except I thought he was an average basketball player. And that being said, that don't mean anything because usually guys who either A have nothing to do with the sport or when they played they weren't a big contributor turn out to be great coaches. So we see that a lot, whether it's football, basketball, or even hockey. A lot of in hockey is concerned too. But I don't know what someone would think in reality, with a JJ Redick. Good fit, bad fit, I don't know. Could he go in there and change the attitude of what's going on with LeBron? Is this a LeBron James, you got to be approved by LeBron before you could get the job kind of thing? There's just so many avenues. I wish I should have the big dog on, but I think he's doing the show. I'll see if I can reach out to the big dog and see because he is a big time Laker fan, and I can I'm gonna reach out to him as we go on throughout the show. But the Lakers, they've got to make a decision and they've got to be relevant. I mean, there's certain teams in the NFL you want to be relevant. One being your Dallas Cowboys. You want them to be relevant, right? I mean, as far as you
Nice.
know, big, yeah, exactly. Big Kansas City Chiefs be relevant. The big teams, and when they're not, it just doesn't do good for the sport in reality. So that
Well, it
being said,
doesn't do good for the city. It doesn't do good for the morale of the city, really,
it,
because at
that
that
in the
point,
league, that
I
makes it
mean, I
kind of hard to
mean,
watch.
I mean, you're looking at 20 weeks of just, oh look, we have a team here. Who
Yeah,
gives a shit? So, I mean,
uh,
hell, we had that with the Rangers for damn near 40 years.
yeah, exactly. Um, as far as who, and by the way, how about the Mavericks down 3-1 right now? But they come back and they just whipped the shit out of the Celtics last night. I think it was last night. If it wasn't last night, it
Two
was the night
nights ago.
before. But
They all run together.
Yeah, and 3-1. I did not expect it. I expected it to be 2-2 after what was going on. I don't. And listen, Boston wants to win it at home too. Was that a lay down game? In reality, for them, I mean, they got their asses spanked. I mean, what do you think?
Well, that's the one time this year the Mavericks beat the Celtics, including regular season. So, it's nice to at least say that you got a win in the finals.
Yeah.
Now, no one's ever come back and won one down 3-1, and it's that whole it's the thing you play on here with the so you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
no, I mean, look. Realistically, it's over. So we're just they're gonna win this thing at home, and hey, good for Boston. Let's add another ring to the damn city that gets too many damn rings. But it's okay.
Well, hold on. Going back into the day, okay? Back in the day, I was a big Celtic fan, and it wasn't because of Larry Bird. It wasn't because of Robert Parrish. It wasn't because of Danny Ainge, although he was a punk. Loved his game. I was a Kevin McHale fan. I was a
I was gonna
Parrish
say that's probably
fan.
why.
Yeah, and these guys and they played dirty. You gotta see. I always believe that especially in basketball, you gotta have that punk. You gotta have the guy that's gonna mix it up. DJ Brown was one of those guys back in the day that played for the Celtics. You gotta have the punk, the instigator, the one that gets your mind off of the game and gets into everything but the game so they can kind of do it. And believe me, back in the day, that was a strategy. In reality, it was a strategy to get your guy, the other team that you're playing just off kilter. And the Lakers had a way of doing it, but they didn't do it with the punk. They just did it with the fact that they kicked your ass so bad that your mind wasn't in it. But normally, look at Allen Iverson. Oh, you want to talk about punk? Guys couldn't stand him, and it was hard to play against him, in big time. So I think especially in basketball, you've got to have that guy that can come up to be the punk that could get everybody's mind off kilter and keep your unaware of what's going on the court more so than wanting to kick the guy's ass. And Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer, these guys, basically the
The
enforcers of
Pistons, yeah.
the 90, exactly the nine. Now before the Bulls started winning their championships, had the bad boys of, and I love me some Detroit Pistons back in the day because it was a more physical game. And I think it's the way the game should be played. I think there should be physicality that's allowed instead of you barely touch LeBron James and you get a whistle. It's just one of those things. So, seeing how the NBA has kind of, plateaued to where it is now. I don't necessarily like the game more so than what we did. However, that being said, the WNBA, okay, it's kind of a rough and tough league right now. And it's because of Caitlin Clark. Let's just be honest. I mean, these girls are, ladies, whatever they want to call it, so I don't try to offend them. They resent Caitlin Clark just coming in and being the superstar that she has been, and
Mm-hmm.
and you're seeing all kinds of heat, whether Caitlin Clark being left off the Olympics, which, by the way, she should not be on the Olympic team. I mean, she hasn't done anything. There are 12 more players in the WNBA that are better than Caitlin Clark. When it comes to the Olympics, it's not about eyes on the product. It's about talent and bringing home the gold in reality.
But in the same time, the Olympics used to be. Now it's different with how they're doing stuff. They used to be more for the amateurs, more for the
Right.
college athletes to come in. She would have been a great player to come in there as a college athlete. But because she's Caitlin Clark now and she's been on SNL and she's done all sorts of crazy things, Yeah. I mean, the Jordan effect that she's trying to have isn't quite there
Do you
because
think she's trying to do that, or is the media and
I
everybody else
I I
placing that on her
I think
shoulders?
the league is pushing that on her.
Yeah,
I really do. I think the league, because once again they need to draw money. Well, who's
absolutely.
gonna? I mean, and those girls can hate her all they want. Guess what? She's opened the door for y'all to make more money.
I true.
So shut the fuck up and let her play. That's what I say.
Here's another problem, okay, and this is it, and this is drives me nuts because people throw race around just so they are throwing the race card around on Caitlin Clark all day long, and Caitlin Clark hasn't done anything to really get the justification of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And let me I'll just throw it out. This is the big thing here. Now, Caitlin Clark, she comes out and says it's something I can this something I can't control. So I don't put much thought or time into thinking about it like that. And to be honest, I don't see a lot of it. Now granted, I get what she is saying. My situation, being married, I don't think about it because first of all, I don't want to think about it. It's a horrible thing, but it's not something that I completely block out of my mind, but it's also not at the forefront of my thinking. And right now, Caitlin Clark, right now, using her name right now, she is a target on non-sports stuff, never mind WNBA. But and then you got the other side of it. How can one not be bothered by their name being used to justify racism, bigotry, misogyny, all this other stuff? All of them. It's not. We all have a platform. Silence is a luxury, and I just totally disagree with that thought. I get the idea of what she's talking about. What she is saying is well, we can't forget about it. Caitlin Clark is not saying she's trying to forget about racism that's going on. What she is saying is that she's got other things that she would prefer to worry about more so than that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just because it's not the first and foremost thing that you're thinking about on a daily basis doesn't make her wrong for thinking that. And that's where my problem is with all the people who are critics to her and for her not necessarily stepping up and saying, and having a quote unquote opinion about racism and everything else in today's game. It's just nuts. I don't know. I
Well,
don't know.
it's
Are you
also
seeing the same thing as I am?
well. This is what I see. I see people going to their groups, talking among themselves, and having that be their reality, and throwing it out there to someone who's just coming to the situation, going, "Okay, well, I don't have anything to do with that,"
Yeah,
and
I've
putting and putting
adopted this problem.
and putting the blame on somebody who doesn't have anything to do with it. Look, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that And by the way, it is reverse racism in some cases. Okay,
I
it,
fully agree with that.
I mean, the thing is, think of how and I hate bringing politics into a sports show, but think of how divided we are as a country. Okay,
Yes.
and we can put them. We can point the finger at everybody, including one guy who's completely orange. We could do all that, but here's the thing: we are so divided as a country, whether it's politically, race wise or whatever else, that we like to think that we live in the same bubble, but we really don't.
No, I
And
agree.
unfortunately, because of that, all these groups come out and they start to have agendas, and these agendas unfortunately get sponsors. And the
Right.
sponsors, they follow the money. Well, here's the thing: that girl who says that about Caitlin Clark, you should follow the money. Caitlin Clark is brought into a situation right there to help the WNBA make money. They don't make money. They're damn near a nonprofit organization. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, so she is trying to generate a buzz, generate money, and by the way, look, she's the Elvis Presley of that league.
Absolutely.
I mean, and for those who want to sit there and bash Elvis for stealing black music and everything else, no, he helped get it. He helped get it known. Okay, because he was who he was at that time, and why we're even going back that far is amazing. Yep. But he was the one that can take Little Richard's music and put it on the radio.
Absolutely.
When Little Richard couldn't. So it sucks, but guess what? Nobody was paying to see your shows.
Keeping it real.
Games. Nobody was paying to see your games before she showed up. That's a harsh reality. Now, is it because of you? No. Is it because you're a woman? Probably. And that sucks. That sucks for all that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, we would all like equality. We all like equal pay. We all like all that stuff. But guess what? The reality is it doesn't happen because you have to generate. Look, you have the opportunity. Go to the Dallas Mavericks versus Boston Celtics finals or go to the WNBA game. Take your pick.
Well, hold on. That being said, you're where you are in stature is whether or not what game you'll be going to. Because if you can't afford $2,000 for a ticket to go see the Mavericks and Celtics, you may just very well end up being at a WNBA game as far as live is concerned.
First of all,
but TV watching it, getting eyes on it, you're right.
Well, first of all, and let's just take money out of the equation here because clearly, big time sports are going to make it so unavailable for people like us. But let's say you have the option, okay? Let's say you have the option. Go see Luka Doncic, go see Kyrie Irving, go see the Celtics and their team, or go see the
Dallas
other
Wings.
The Dallas Wings and the Boston
Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark.
Well, okay. Well, see, she might. Don't get me wrong. There are people out there that will take the women's game. I know a guy, my good buddy Eugene, who passed away years ago. He was a huge WNBA fan, but he loved the NBA too. But because the WNBA gives you a pure sort of basketball.
Yes,
I understand that. But this goes back to pro wrestling. Are you there to see pro wrestling or are you there to be sports entertainment? Which one's gonna
good point.
WWE, AEW, who's drawing the most?
Yep, absolutely. Well, obviously, who's drawing the most? I mean,
right. So,
but at the same time, that's that niche market. In reality, it's kind of what I call the AEW of the world niche market. It's a little bit different, and it's not the same as what you get with the or with the WWE. So it's kind of like it's almost like minor. It's like a real minor league, but with the big names evidently going down there. Obviously,
I go minor league because here's the thing. College women's softball is getting big now.
It is getting big. I've seen more of that on Facebook when I'm scrolling and stuff. You're right.
But the bad thing is college softball for women don't draw money.
Right. Exactly.
So it's a nice TV switch, and maybe the network should pump in some money to these organizations as much as anything else. But that's not going to happen because, again, we don't have to cover you.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, we don't have to put our cameras in on your baseball field. Guess what? Their cameras don't have to cover WNBA game either, and guess what? A lot of them don't.
Think about this. Okay, we run a sports show. How often are we talking about the NHL?
Right. And that's one of the big
how often are we talking about other sports besides football and maybe?
By the way, thank you for not talking
we're talking basketball.
Thank you for not talking to NHL because I'd be lost. but
half of it I can't even pronounce their names or anything, right. So I run into it. But think about and it's funny that you mentioned what you're talking about is because I will tell you right now, take those choices, NBA, WNBA, go see Luka Doncic or go see Caitlin Clark. If it is encompassed, if I was going to go see one of two or a third, I'm telling you right now, there is nothing like women's volleyball and gymnastics on the college level. I'm telling you right now, if I had my choice of what I would go see, I'd go see women's volleyball or the gymnastics if I was going to spend my money. Just more on the fact.
You know what? I'll put it more practical sense. Okay, let's say
Okay.
you're someone who doesn't go out like me. I stayed home all weekend long.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna look on the TV and see what I found. I came across an indoor football league game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fascinated for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then, but here's what draws you away from that
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because
That's why I'm going. You know what? You should, if you want to go to a game, the next game that we're going to happen, I'll get you a ticket, but you have to come down here, obviously.
that's the
But
problem.
yeah, that's the problem. But take away from that, like indoor football, I'm a firm believer. Before you can sit there and watch it on YouTube, you need to go to one of those games. Okay.
Which I have. I've gone
Yeah.
to one.
Well, on a rate and you got to develop a love for that game to sit there and watch it on YouTube. You really do. I think because, like you said, just the average person just flipping through and they find it, they might have their attention drawn to it for about 10 or 15 minutes when obviously you want them to sit there for the whole game or be there when the game starts, watching it that way. And I think that comes from, as far as that is concerned, a love of that sport in order for that to happen, and it's hard to find.
Listen, I love the NFL a lot. Okay, I really do. Hell, I proved it by beating y'all in the pick'em league.
Oh,
But
yeah, yeah.
sorry, I had to say that.
Yeah,
But
you had to get
uh, but here's the thing: it's the same sport being played in the UFL, with the XFL and the USFL coming together.
Mhm.
I didn't watch 1 second of that.
I haven't
Now,
either, but
uh,
somebody picked up that kicker who kicked that 63-yarder. I forget what team picked up that kicker.
I know the Cowboys picked up last year.
Yeah, but no, this just happened a couple of
Yeah.
days ago.
Well,
He kicked a 63-yarder and they picked him up. The Lions picked
okay,
him up.
good. But here's the thing. You know, I love college football. I don't know the players' names,
Mhm.
and I don't really have a team.
Mhm.
I know in college football it's important to have a team. I don't particularly have one of those, and I don't particularly. I mean, it's funny. I think maybe politics has kind of brought this to my attention. Is that there's so much tribalism in politics.
Mhm.
Whether you're one or the other, and if you don't agree with me, you're against me type thing. That whole nonsense. And the way I see it is like, I just wear one jersey. And unfortunately, it's a team that can't win a damn playoff game. But
Right.
it is what it is. I mean, I've been loyal to them since I was 6. So that's 34 years of being invested. So I mean, the thing is that I'm not real big on just picking a jersey and just clinging to it because once again you deal with the heartbreaks, you deal with the heartaches that come with a football team or a sports team for that matter who can't win the big one or they climb the mountain or they can't even climb the mountain to begin with, and then then you're stuck with nothing, right?
Right.
Then all of a sudden you're like, well, I mean, why am I picking this team? You're like going, dude, I got a buddy of mine. He's a big time Washington Redskins fan, and we know what the Redskins have gone through here. They've changed their names to the
Mhm.
football team and the Commanders and whatever else. But he was a diehard because he was a big John Riggins fan. He grew up a big John Riggins fan. They had Dexter Manley on the team. Joe Theismann was
Mm.
the guy. I mean, the Art Monk back in the day. He was.
Mhm.
I mean, me and him, we'd always because I was a Cowboys fan, so clearly we had that.
Right.
And shout out to Mark Mitchell, by the way. And who
Which, by the
also
way, I'm going to post my interview that I had with the Super Bowl winning quarterback Doug Williams that I did
uh,
years back. I finally
yeah.
found the recording. I'll be posting that soon.
But yeah, but we always had that. Now think of not so much just the organizational changes that team has made. They ain't done nothing since the year before the Cowboys started on their dynasty.
Good point.
So they've had as much failure as Dallas has had
Absolutely.
since then. So but no one
But
ever
that's not
talks
going to
about
get the
going
national main stage because of who the Dallas Cowboys are and what they represent
right,
each and every
right,
year.
right. Because once again, it's all about who's in charge.
America's scene.
Well, but here's the thing: who named him that?
Well, I
NFL.
know the background.
Eh,
Do you know
eh,
that?
eh,
What is your understanding of what the background is of that?
NFL Films named him that.
Close. America's team was brought as a kind of like just how do you say it? A fluke. It was just a statement that was made, and that was before Jerry got there. By the way, just to let everybody
It's
know.
probably a text ram thing then.
Say that again.
It's probably a text ram thing then.
Well, something like that. I forget the name,
Yeah.
but it was just thrown out there. And then what happened is that it was such a great name, they trademarked it, which is so nobody else in the NFL can be known as the quote unquote America's team. So it was trademarked, and then it got into the NFL Films, with them being that. So it was something that was set up on on a kind of a local level. We're just so good. We're America's teams. Everybody wants to see the Dallas Cowboys now, and remember the Dallas Cowboys hadn't been around for that as long as a lot of these other football teams, as they came alive in the early 60s. So,
but also if you remember also back then, they were winning. I mean, they were getting to dance almost every year.
Yeah,
not so much the Super Bowl, but they were in the Final Four.
Absolutely, and when you were that good, people start giving you monikers and stuff like that. So, and that's what ended up happening.
Hey,
and it's actually a pretty neat story.
Hey, for 1 year, the Rams were the greatest show on turf.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually 3 if you think about the Kurt Warner and then the running back. The running back's name is the Hall of Fame running back. Yeah, those 2 combos which made that, and then Isaac Bruce on the outside made that also big too.
Torrey Holt.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they had players, and that was the year that they could do that, right?
Absolutely. I don't think we could do it today.
Well, they couldn't personally, no, because
the Panthers don't have one of those monikers, by the way. Jaguars don't have it, except no, the Jaguars have one. We suck. So take away from that. I mean, it's they're hard to get monikers in today's world and in today's sports and stuff. So.
Oh, I know, but like the Monsters of the Midway has always been a thing for the Bears.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a good one too.
I mean, the Purple People Eaters from the Vikings, the Steel Curtain. Obviously,
it's like today's people who work in that thing don't have an original thought in their head to come up with something. Orange Crust for the Denver Broncos,
the Hawks, the Redskins.
Absolutely. Oh, that one's probably my favorite, by the way. So, but by the way, before we go, I want to get this because I took time to find it out. Here's the comparison of what's going on after this win here. Last night against the Celtics for the Mavericks. Luka with 29 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. Kyrie 21 points. So the different, looking at that, you got 50. You got a total of 50 points scored by those two in that game, and Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum only come with 25. That's the reason why I said, was that just a game just to get out? It's just so they can go back and try to win it. And
maybe so, but then again, the one thing about Kyrie Irving is that as much as you want to hate on the guy for him having the shitty attitude before he came to the Mavericks, he hasn't had one with the Mavericks. He's always been a team player. I mean, night and day.
And the interesting point of that is I'm surprised by his lack of production in these playoffs because of the fact that what does a Kyrie Irving want to do? Get out from underneath the shadow that he's always been with LeBron James, right? I mean, that's just something that he would want to, you would think he'd want to do. That's why you would think he would hopefully step up a little bit more in game 1, 2, and 3, which he did not necessarily do. And Luka's great, but he's got to be able to have someone. Yeah, and he's hurt too. So you double down upon the fact that he's hurt and he can't do it all himself. You got to have that Kyrie step up and do that. Now, they're not. I'm sorry, and I don't want to be a downer. They're not going to win 4 in a row against Boston. They're just not going to do it.
No.
Whether they do it, back here in Dallas and they win it when they come back, if they win up there, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to see a 4 in a row for the Mavericks to beat those guys.
But the one thing about sports that doesn't happen very often is always the what if factor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
we
what
got
if?
too much of the logic playing into it more so
Listen,
than the
listen.
hope.
There was a lot of logic that went into when the undefeated Patriots went on to take on the New York Football Giants in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Good point.
And what happened?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which, by the way, since I like to spin off, go up onto the fork in the road. That, by the way, the fact they don't get credit for that whole thing, even though they lost in the Super Bowl, and the Miamis are considered the only ones with the undefeated season. Well, how many more games are there now compared to that as well? And that they actually did break in reality in order to get there, but they didn't win the big one.
but also understand their logic. Well, we played a different game back then. Then you can kill the quarterback.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Deacon, could you imagine Deacon Jones playing in today's game? I would love to see it.
Dude, I can't imagine Randy White playing in this game today.
Good point. Oh man, Randy White was one of the most physical guys that could catch a football. I mean, my God, he'd knock your block off if you line up across him.
Dude, Harvey Martin was pretty much a badass too.
Yes, he was.
So
and actually, you think about it, the Dallas Cowboys kind of invented that kind of thing, which also makes me want to puke. But it's the story that's in it. So, but I would love to. Certain guys you bring back. Deacon Jones is one. I've always thought I would love to see Deacon Jones play in today's game.
Do you realize how much of Michael Irvin's game would be altered because he couldn't push off a receiver or defender?
Exactly. How about Jerry Rice? No one allowed to hang off him. He probably have 20,000 more yards in today's game compared to what it is. Not only that, the argument about Jerry Rice not being the best. The biggest argument is that he wasn't as fast as Owens or Moss. But the problem is he was so smooth, you couldn't keep up with his smoothness. You never knew where Jerry Rice was going to go. More so than you use the speed guys, you kind of know where they were going to go because of their speed. Jerry Rice, that guy could stop on a dime better than most in the NFL. And get the ball, and then your defender's still running, trying to keep up with an invisible man that stopped 5 yards. He was so good at that kind of stuff. So the difference in the game today, even Jerry Rice to Terrell Owens and Randy Moss, they're different games. As Moss and Owens was getting the benefit of the new rules and stuff like that, they still couldn't keep up with the Jerry Rice, who had them hanging off of them, running down the sideline a lot. So,
well, let me ask you this then: who made who better? Did Jerry Rice make Steve Young better, or did Steve Young make Jerry Rice better?
Well, you can ask that about Joe Montana.
Right, that too.
So you think about that, and you
Montana was already great before Jerry Rice came to the team, though.
Yes and no. Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. Yeah. Those are always the guys, but you have to have the connection now. So, like Patrick Mahomes is doing it without the Tyreek Hill, still doing it without Tyreek Hill. Guys that have been able to move on and do it with it. See, you look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady, Drew Brees made household names out of guys no one's ever even heard of, and that's So I think it's more about the quarterback, because yes, you can hit Marvin Harrison, but hitting the guys underneath, Garshon, who's heard of this dude? And Garshon ends up to being one of the better wide receivers in the league at the time because of Peyton Manning.
Well, the bad thing is that the older that Jerry Rice got, and he started going to the Raiders and then to the
he went to the Raiders Broncos. And the Bucks, and that was kind of ugly.
Oh, the Broncos.
I don't remember the Broncos. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I don't think he went to the Bucks.
Absolutely, he went to the Bucks. You look it up.
Did he?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think you might be thinking the wrong team. I'm not saying he wasn't with Denver. I just don't remember, but
It's
I know
okay.
he's with the
It's
Bucks.
all right. You could be wrong. Let me get off Pornhub here.
I could be wrong. Yeah, I know. I tell you, no, I'm not wrong about the Bucks. What I'm saying is, I know he was on the Bucks.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I don't know about Denver.
Okay.
He may have been there. I just don't remember that one. But that's imagining different players in different uniforms too, and how successful they may or may not have been. As
Okay.
far
Let's
as
see
that's
here.
concerned, you got
Jerry
it.
Rice career stats. See, he's with the 49ers. Oh, my bad. It wasn't the Bucks. It was
Yeah.
the Seahawks.
Oh, he went to the Seahawks.
Yeah, for 1 year.
I
Yeah,
did
no,
not. See, I
he
don't
did not.
remember.
He did Niners, Raiders, and Seahawks. I don't know why I thought, bro. I think he tried out for Denver, but then just retired. But yeah, he never
Hold
went to
on,
the Bucks.
that thing doesn't show he's on the Bucks.
No,
Oh, Jerry Rice was a Buck.
no, he
Now,
wasn't.
yeah, he was.
No, he
Ah,
wasn't.
I gotta look at this.
Okay.
It's but now that's the kind of thing that bothers me. I think I know. Now I gotta say I think I know because I knew before. So now I gotta say I
You
think I
assumed,
know.
and now you're not
Yeah, I
assuming.
assume made an ass out of you and me. All right, here we go. Jerry Rice. Let me hit this part
No,
right here.
no, I was
No,
wrong about
no,
that.
you hold on. I gotta admit it. You are right. San
Of course, I'm right.
Francisco, Oakland Raiders, Seattle Seahawks, and the Broncos, but he was only on the practice squad.
Yeah.
So I am mistaken. I wonder what I am thinking of. It wasn't. Oh, okay. It's the Raiders I'm thinking of because he didn't really have a great run in with the Raiders. He didn't have a
No.
great career as far as numbers are concerned over with them. So yeah, but that is a good question. I like that. Who made who? Jerry Rice, Steve Young, or even throwing the Montana in there. But I think it's both. I think it's both Montana. I think it's both Steve Young. Now Steve Young had a lot of intangibles that a lot of quarterbacks today are mainly focused on. Steve Young could move around in the pocket, run, and be the pocket. He could be the pocket passer and the running quarterback both. And
Whoa,
not too
come on.
many today
What
can do
was he
that.
a running quarterback?
No, he was a
Was
pocket
he a
passer.
running quarterback?
No, you can sit there and argue that all day long. He was a pocket passer. He's
We
one of
did
the
that. We
best
did that.
passing.
We did that.
He's one of the best
That was so
passing
last
quarterbacks
year.
in NFL history. So you know he's a pocket.
I need Bryce on here to help me defend that one.
You know, you don't need that on there. Even Bryce would admit that he is not a running quarterback.
He was on my team, on my side that entire time.
Yeah, I'm just telling you where I know where Bryce would be. But then again, it is what it is.
Yeah. You were also wrong too. It's okay.
And been wrong on more times than not.
Just recently, just recently, a second ago, when you thought Jerry Rice played for the Bucks.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm just saying. By the way, I don't know. We didn't talk about this. Oh, we did, but not a lot. This one's hurting my feelings. This guy not in the game next year. I think we see him come back if they're in contention.
Why is not in the game this year?
If the Rams are in contention for the Super Bowl or having a good year, I think we see him. I think we see him back in the uniform. Which it's sad to think that he's not going to be at the beginning of the year. See his greatness through a whole year. I think they get to an age where they don't want to do that. Game season.
Time out. Shut up. Hey,
no,
listen.
it's my show. I'll keep talking. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm lost. Did he retire?
Yeah, he retired. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So and thinking about not having Aaron Donald on the football field week 1. Outside of him barring injury, it's just kind of crazy.
There's always a player. I mean, look at Barry Sanders. Everybody thought he had more time to give, and he said, "No, I'm done."
Well, no. Well, hold on. The difference between that is, and you go back and you check out the he retired because he knew the Lions weren't going to do anything to make them better in order for them to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, if you remember, he demanded to be traded to the Washington team. Because he demanded to be traded to Washington back then because Washington was getting your Bruce Smiths and your Deion Sanders and your whoever else was coming to that team at that time. And he wanted to be a part of that, thinking they were going to be the team. Problem is, they didn't want to get rid of him, so he retired. And then the Washington team went on and had a so-so year with all that talent they had. So
I
like it
did
all
not
meant,
know that Barry
yeah,
Sanders wanted to be traded to the Redskins. I did not know that. So
yeah.
I just thought he wanted to stay with the Lions. Let's get this team going. He wanted to be a lifetime franchise guy. I don't necessarily remember
You don't know
hearing that.
how much I was praying to the football gods that would not happen, because I'm like, no, I don't want to
Well,
face him
right there in your
twice.
division with your Cowboys, you know.
No, I
So
don't want to face him twice, because at that time we were continuously beating Washington every year, twice a year, right?
yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
I don't want to give them another reason, because now it's like, oh my God, they're really stacking up with the talent around them, but none of them
Mhm.
can work together as a team. Who
Yep.
would have thought? But I mean, a whole bunch of individuals trying to play on one team didn't work.
Well, we kind of covered this last week. I want to get back because we didn't talk a lot of that about this, but here are the the
I thought we talked
MVPs
way too much about it.
for well, why wouldn't we? I mean, because of the names. That's what I'm talking about here. Because the Steve Young came to mind. He was the MVP of the league. There's your Barry Sanders. These are guys that we're talking about. But what I think is interesting, it's not because of the superstars. It's because of the game's MVP, a Rich Gannon. Okay, think about that. When you're thinking great quarterbacks, you don't think Rich Gannon. Sorry, you don't. You're thinking of
No.
other people.
He's a good
Sean
journeyman.
Alexander. Sean Alexander should be in the NFL Hall of Fame way before Frank Gore is, but Frank Gore's going to get in because you had to worry about Sean Alexander, and Steve McNair. I don't know. I never liked him. Him winning the MVP was huge. But there's your Emmitt Smith right there up on top. And what would that team be without an Emmitt Smith?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you ready to hear it? I
Sure.
think they would still be as great as they were back in the day without Emmitt Smith. What? And so I'm gonna ask that question to you: is this football team the same without an Emmitt Smith on it?
No,
You don't think
because
so?
because it started in 1993 when he held out for 2 games. They lost. He he helped Troy open the pocket.
Right.
He helped Troy so much, and by the way, it's a team effort, right? So
Yes.
not only just Emmett, but Jay Novacek on the outside. Jay Novacek was a huge key to Troyman's
I
success,
fully agree with you 100%. Probably
because
more so than Michael Irvin because you knew what you were
well,
gonna
well,
get with him.
for Michael Irvin to work, you had to have a solid running back,
Yep,
and then you had to have that third option, which was Jay Novacek.
right,
Mike was your first, no matter what.
right.
Okay,
Yeah,
Alvin
Pearson
Harper,
too.
who
Pearson too.
who
Drew Pearson.
Troy never had them.
Okay, that was right. Yeah, that was a Roger Staubach guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Danny White had him for a little bit, but Alvin Harper was the other guy on the other side.
Yes.
Solid number two, and he screwed himself big time, leaving the Cowboys, going to the Bucks. He actually went to the Bucks,
He went to the
and
Bucs.
he actually went to the Bucks, and thinking he'd be a number one. Turns out he wasn't anything near that. But you had that dynamic, that dynamic passing game that happened because of Emmett, because Emmett would be able to get you the yards you need to get to. And by the way, Emmett wouldn't be where he is going for Moose, because Moose had a
Fully
block
agree
for
with
him.
you on that. Moose Johnson is
So that whole team was a perfect storm at one time, and it all came together from 1990 until about 1996.
I was gonna
It
say
all
six.
worked well. And at that point, the first casualty was Novacek.
Yeah.
Actually, the first casualty was Alvin Harper, but only because it's free agency. But yeah, the Dallas Cowboys will not be anything. I mean, look, that's back when the running game mattered.
Right.
Back when it really mattered. Back before you throw the ball 500 yards and still lose a game. So
I
You
would,
know,
interestingly enough, my preference, and it doesn't have anything to do with what records were broke. I love Tony Dorsett
mhm.
so much. I loved him more than Emmett Smith. And
Wow.
just, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, I liked him more. I think he was more versatile than. But then again, when you're good at what you do, you just keep feeding it and keep doing it, which is one of my problems with strategy. You know what? You shove it down their throat until they stop you, and they couldn't do it with Emmett. The problem that Tony Dorsett, so they could stop Tony Dorsett in the run. Then they utilized him, a lot on third down, little screen passes and stuff like that. Not that Emmett didn't do that, but if it wasn't for that fact, Tony Dorsett wouldn't have been as great as he would, because if they just depended on him to run, it couldn't always be done like Emmett. If they only had Emmett run, he could be successful, at
Yeah,
least in my
he was a good fourth option for sure.
yep.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, by the way, think about this. Okay, all right, this is what happens, okay, when you get into the off season, okay, and we start talking and thinking about what's going on in the NFL. We want to get back to football so much. I saw this meme, I thought it was funny. I miss and not sports, but the NFL
Mhm.
so much. I went to the zoo today to boo the Lions. This is what happens when you get into the off season. We start talking the way that we kind of go into corners. But that also being said, speaking of the Lions, this is a football team, I think, that took last year to realize that the first 2 years before that, with their new head coach, that he was the guy. And I remember on this show 3 years ago, not that I was per se, I was kind of agreeing with it, but still being hopefully optimistic for him, calling him a clown show and everything else. I'm talking about the head coach of the Lions, and Dan Campbell was known as this, and then when I saw this, thinking about the clown from the first 2 weeks, I just thought about this and it just made me laugh, and I was like, well, I'll put that out there because it got. But you want to talk about a guy that has kind of turned around. First of all, turned around a franchise that hasn't done anything since Barry. In reality, some people would question, did they really do much with Barry? Yeah, they did in reality, because that's as far
One
as
year,
they ever, yeah, as far as they, yeah, 1 year that they ever got. So
91.
now you got Dan Campbell, considered a clown show when he was fired. He's one of the top coaches in the NFL. If you ask people today, who is it? Now, you're always going to get your guys up on top with Andy Reid and guys like that. You're going to get those. But a guy that's creeping his way up in there as far as, respect is concerned, Dan Campbell's getting it, because look what he's doing with this team that has never done really a crock of crap except for 1 year, and where they are actually maybe kind of heading.
What happens if they go 5-12 next year?
Good question.
I
Good question.
mean, does that goodwill that Detroit has for him go away?
That I it's hey, it's an option. They're the Lions. Listen, because after that run with Barry, okay, what did they do? You kind of can see not necessarily the writing on the wall, but what could be written on the wall. And this year, I think Dan Campbell is in a situation I don't know if he really wants to be. I think there's so much pressure on him to win that if he doesn't, that's going to be a problem. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. So, saying hi to people hopping in. By the way, we're on what's it called?
You're on Twitch?
Twitch. Yeah, that's a Twitch thing.
Oh,
So,
that's a Twitch thing. That's all that.
yeah, I know. We're on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So,
YouTube.
yeah. So, but that being said, but thinking about how all this goes in the off season and what we talk about, I think it brings to mind when you see this, what we're looking for. Then you see this, some of the talk that is going on. And then you start asking questions later on. What's going to happen? Who you have? Well, guess what? The Steelers decided, Dan Campbell might be a hot commodity right now, but they went ahead, the Steelers went ahead and extended out a guy that, listen, I'm not saying the guy should be fired, but some people could say, why are we extending Mike Tomlin? What has he done for me lately? That is the song, right? That everybody talks about. And especially with Tomlin, now granted, I think this is a guy that has done more with less, considering where they have been in the past to compared to now, what he's able to do. I think what I think is the big deal, and I'll ask you this: has Mike Tomlin lived off the fact that he hasn't had a losing season forever, but just hasn't had much success in the last 6 seasons?
He benefits from an organization that doesn't just let go of coaches left and right.
That's this organization.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is that maybe not winning at all. Again, as football fans, we always factor everything based on winning it all.
Right.
Okay.
Or at least getting there.
Right. Well, he's had winning seasons, right?
Right.
I mean, he's always had the Steelers in the conversation.
Right.
Except for maybe last year. But I mean, he's always found a way to keep them in the conversation, which is a lot more than, say, the biggest owner in the NFL, Jerry Jones, can do.
Well,
Let's
that's
face
an
it,
owner, but yes.
yeah, as an owner / general manager. But whatever. So it's a whole argument. But
Yeah.
and by the way, an owner who's had how many coaches since Tom Landry? 7.
Said a lot.
That's a lot. Whereas, I mean, you think of it this way: since Jerry Jones has taken over the Cowboys, he has fired 7 coaches. Since he's been the owner of the Cowboys, Steelers have had 2. Bill Cowher and now Tomlin, and both of them, and Cowher left on his own free will.
Yes, he did. And by the way, he left it because he wanted to see his daughter in college sports. She was I think she was a basketball player, and he went a volleyball player, and he wanted it, and he got moved away from it. So that's the reason why he went on to the NFL today.
Good. They got one fan from him. Cool. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, the Steelers are a different organization than most of the teams. Okay, because winning is. I mean, for fans, winning is everything. We have to win.
Right.
But there is also the sense of, well, you know what? We like this guy. We like what he's brought. He's got a resume, which, let's face it, if he got let go of the Steelers, doesn't the line form to the left as far as teams that are wanting to pick up a coach with that kind of pedigree?
Every team in the NFL would have to give consideration to Mike Tomlin as their head coach if they were in search of one.
Right. So I mean, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm. And Steelers, they can have a so-so year, but it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. Now, I'm pretty sure the Steelers had 3 back-to-back losing seasons,
right?
And and were 3-14 or back in 16 games, 3-13, continually. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be gone, but they didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So, they want to extend them longer, extend them. It don't matter. I mean, all we're saying is, hey, look, we want more of this. We want more of what you have to offer. You know what? We have the right to say you're fired, but we've never done that. So we're not going to do that with you unless we really have to. Nobody likes to, no owner likes to bring on a coach and goes, I'm glad I got you for a couple of years, so I let you go.
Right.
I mean, no owner ever comes out and just says that, It always happens that way, but no one ever comes out and says that.
Think about this, okay? You're talking about a team in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. They've only had 2 two-digit win seasons. 10-7 last year, 12-4 in 20, and of course
They were
that
10 and
was the
7
year
last year.
of the huh?
They were 10-7 last year.
They were 10-7 last year, correct?
Damn, I didn't realize
Yeah,
they were that good.
which you didn't necessarily know
Hmm.
because they were not playing good. In 2020 was COVID year. They went 12-4.
Doesn't
But
count.
after the year in 2017, when they went 13-3 and they lost in the division rounds, okay, they were
Mhm.
9-6 and 1, 8-8. Then they had the 12-4 COVID year, 9-7, 9-8, and then 10-7. No wonder people like myself were wondering, when is that going to stop? When are they not going to have successful seasons and living on the fact that they had a quote unquote winning season? You know, at the time they considered 8-8 a winning season. You know, so you know, how long can he live on that? And I know for a fact we've been on this show talk years ago, Cuervo and I, and even to his point to not that Bryce would admit that he'd want them to go, but he wouldn't have been opposed to a move.
Mhm.
But how long does a guy like a Mike Tomlin just continually, and I'm just now going to say it, and Bryce will chair into me for saying it. They've been mediocre at best. Let's be honest. I mean, you take away you take away that 12 win season last season, which again no one really knew. They lost in the first round of the wild card. All right, and no one really expected them. And this was a team that definitely benefited from a situation where you know they had let's their schedule was built for them to be mediocre and get wins against mediocre other football teams, and they're going to win those games. So that's the reason why you sit there and you question even the 12 win season last year.
That wasn't a guarantee though. That wasn't a guarantee though. Kenny Pickett is your quarterback.
Exactly, and that's the point. They did it without a Kenny Pickens. I think the simple fact of the matter is when Kenny Pickens got hurt, they were winning football games without Kenny Pickens. So I think that was one of the reasons why when they were looking at whether or not they were going to keep Tomlin around longer, they're like, well, look what he was able to do without their quote unquote franchise quarterback that was supposed to be the guy that was going to lead them further, and obviously that didn't happen. So
Well, also if you remember during the season until it actually happened, we all kept saying they're going to get rid of their offensive coordinator.
yeah, true. That's true
And
too.
so for them to go
Built-in
10-7,
excuse there.
yeah. Well, for them to go 10-7 with missing their assistant coach from early in the year and letting him go halfway through, I mean, what does it say about that team? What does it say about Tomlin?
Exactly.
You know,
And
so
I'm just wondering if it
I
was
mean, so if
any other
you
team, would he be there?
right, so if you want to extend the guy for basically producing a miracle for that team last year,
Mhm.
I mean, then you know what? It's your money. You do what you want to do with it, and you know, let's face it,
Well, think about this also. They lost
it's
in the
not going to
wild
hurt
card
them.
the last 3 times they've been in the playoffs. Last year, 2021 and 2020, they lost in the wild card. Back in 2017, they lost in the division, and then 2016, they lost in the conference championship, lost in the division the year before that, and the last time they lost in the wild card before 2020, they lost in the wild card in 2014. But that 4-year stretch right there taking them where they were 11-5, 10-6, and still only lost in the division championship. You know, you got that, but the 11-5 season when they lost in the conference championship, you know, they had the successes. But after 2017, and I remember this like it was yesterday. All right, 2018, not a great season. 2019, 2000, then you start, and I was right. How long does that franchise go with mediocre football? And, you know, so you get what they had 10-7 last year, and questioning before the end of the season, you know, on this show, we were talking about will Mike Tomlin be able to save his job because they weren't doing well. And then
So you're
this
telling me there's a chance.
for him to be able to get that extension. He was able to get it, but I'm still wondering that extension, I think, was a mistake. I think there is an opportunity right now to start afresh. new quarterback, a new offensive coordinator, new head coach. And because in reality, I don't know why Pittsburgh Steelers fans are not yelling to get him out of there. So because what he has done for the last 6 years is not Steeler acceptable in my eyes. I wish Bryce was here. But it's not acceptable. I as far as that, and them extending him, I think, is actually the biggest mistake that they've made in a long time, as far as considering who they're going to help lead their football team. I think, in other words, I think this is a mistake.
Okay. Well, think of it this way. Think of how much turnover that team has had since they went to the AFC Championship, the conference game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Think of how much turnover they've had, different players, different systems, different everything, and he is your one constant.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot about a guy who hasn't really put up. I mean, yeah, you might think little about a 500 record or a subpar or whatever, but it's not a losing record. That's the thing. It's losing to you because, let's face it, you're used to the Jaguars. So I mean, you're used to seeing bad years.
Hold on,
No,
hold on. But let me interject. 8-8 is not a winning season in my eyes.
You're right in your eyes, but in their eyes, it is. It's not a winning season, but it's not a losing season. That's the difference. I mean, you kind of broke even.
They got
there,
the winning season there. I mean, you got to throw the quotes up there. Asterisk right here, barely made it. If they weren't for the fact the quarterback got knocked out in the third quarter in the last game of the season 2 years ago, they wouldn't be where they're at.
Time out. Look, let's make you the owner of the Steelers right now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's say you're going to fire Tomlin or let him go or not extend him or whatever the deal is. All right. Where do you go?
I know. That's it's always the question we ask. That question.
I mean,
most of the time we ask.
We can play armchair quarterback on this all we want to, but the fact is, I mean, the guy can produce. Okay, has he produced winning Steeler football? No, but then again, Jerry Jones hasn't produced winning Cowboys football either. Okay, so it happens. I mean, right now you're stuck in a dynasty, and that's the Chiefs.
Yeah,
you know. So until we get rid of the Taylor Swift movement, the air goes away, then we're all stuck. Okay.
Well,
because it's hard to know with a straight face.
Exactly. You did very well, by the way, with that.
Thank you. I can cut a promo like no other. You know that.
But interestingly enough, okay, the Steelers, with their tradition, their storied franchise, the most winning Super Bowl, team in the NFL, with 6, along with the Patriots with 6.
Huh?
But looking at the Dallas Cowboys compared to the Steelers, last year 12-5. The year before that 12-5. The year before that, what were they?
12-5.
12-5. Then their winning season at 8-8. Then they're I skipped over 2020 when they were 6-10. But back to 2010 and 6.
That's Andy Dalton year.
9-7, 13-3. I mean, so you think about the last 10 years of Dallas Cowboy football.
And they've had 2 coaches in that 10-year span, right?
Exactly.
But here's
at
the
same time,
it hasn't produced you anything that you really want.
2-digit wins. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2-digit wins, 10 or more.
Okay.
That 8-8, that 8-8 is unacceptable to Jerry Jones. The 8-8 should be unacceptable to Art Rooney and the Pittsburgh Steelers as well, depending upon what your expectations are. Every year, what are the expectations for the Cowboys? Super Bowl. What are the expectations? Should be the expectations for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Super Bowl. The problem is that the Cowboys are closer to be making it to the Super Bowl than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And how many coaches have they had?
Well, time out. First of all, Art Rooney's been dead for a while, sir. So I mean, that really counts.
It's the Art Rooney way.
Yeah.
but I didn't know Rooney was dead, so I'll pass to that. Yeah, I guess I didn't even realize he died in 80. No, is that Art? No. Hold on, wrong Art Rooney.
Now his son's running the team right now.
Oh no, he died in 88. I didn't realize that. So God, I thought that guy was. There we go. That's how much the fact that I.
And yet you're so emphatic that you're so right about bullshit. Whatever.
No. Hold on. I just thought he was alive. That's all. That's all. I didn't realize everything also. So I'm saying you're saying Art Rooney should fire him. Whoever's reading that fucking thing needs to get that thing done. I'm sorry. Listen. So I'm just gonna say it, and I know it's horrible, and I know right. This is not the right coach for this time right now. Listen. Now again. Not saying Mike Tomlin wouldn't be a head coach the day after they let him go, because he will. He'd be a coach in the NFL if that's what he wanted to do too. You got to think about that as well. If he wanted to coach, he'd be on a football team, on a football squad somewhere in the NFL right out. Now, we used to think that about Bill Cowher, but Cowher, his priorities completely changed, and they went off to, for family matters more so than football matters. And then he got the best gig in the world, getting being on that studio show. So pretty good. But at the same time, I would love to hear me some Tomlin in the studio. I would love to hear what he has to say on in his real. See, the only problem is with Tomlin, he'd still be in consideration. We wouldn't get the real Tomlin. I can still get a job, so I don't want to say this. I don't want to say that. More so than Cowher, he don't care. He'll come out and rip somebody.
A lot of people said that about Troy, though, because when Troy would do an interview as a Cowboy, he would say absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
Then he goes and does color commentary. Now,
I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
So even Romo to an extent. Let's face it,
the brute honesty.
The brute honesty of having that role and having played that position and everything else, and having to be a part of what you're saying. Those pressure cook situations where you have to win.
Yep.
And you know what? I get it. And
would you keep Tomlin?
I would.
You would. Okay.
I would only in the sense that I'm building stuff around him for him as an owner. I'm trying to bring in the people that he wants me to bring in. If all that fails, and he can go below 5, whatever. I know we can't go 500 anymore. If they go 6-11 or 5-12 or something like that, and if his vision wasn't working, then I look elsewhere.
Well, the problem is they extended him. They extended him.
I understand that because
that's 4 years
again,
and a lot of that's
money. Again, because they got rid of the offensive coordinator. Now, had they gotten rid of the offensive coordinator and they still lost, then yeah, I could see where he'd be gone or he would not get the extension. But because they finished out at 10-7 and got a playoff berth, that really helps for that team. Because once again, we have to quit looking at football as a singular entity for one person, that coach, that quarterback, because it's not always just them. Because your quarterback doesn't play defense.
I understand that. I get that. But
so,
also,
if your quarterback throws for 5 touchdowns and the other team goes for 6, is that your quarterback's fault? No.
Okay, then you can say that about Dak Prescott then. How many points has the defense been giving up for the last 4 years?
If you remember, I have said that about Dak Prescott. My problem with Dak Prescott is the fact that I think now is a time where he doesn't deserve the money he wants to get. And I don't think he's going to get it. And I think
why is he not going to get it when they're scoring 30 points a game and they can't win football games after they score 30 points a game?
Because here's the thing. What games is he scoring those 30 points in?
That's irrelevant because those games are the ones that are going to get you to the playoffs, and then we're talking playoffs, and I can get your argument. But when you're talking about what this guy has done at the quarterback position for the Dallas Cowboys, no one has actually done based upon the numbers that are being given up defensively on this football team. I'm telling you right now, Dak Prescott, and I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly, but he's top 3 of a quarterback that has scored 30 points more a game and still lose the freaking game. So that's got to, there's where your decisions are. And say whatever you want about what was his name? He's now the head coach. The guy who was the defense coordinator for the last 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
Him, the home
Dan Quinn.
yeah,
Dan
Quinn,
Quinn.
exactly. Coming from it and doing what he did in Atlanta, wonderful. He did, but their defense is giving up 30 points a game. So looking at where Dak Prescott is and his progression as a quarterback at the age that he is, they're lucky to be able to get 30 points out of a guy like that on an average. He was averaging 34 points a game for the last, whatever it is. That defense has got to come through for him every once in a while before. Now, granted, the quarterback takes a lot of weight on their shoulders about what ends up happening. And granted, that the focus on Dak Prescott is going to be playoffs, right? That's what it's going to be. No one cares about the regular season unless they're going 5-12 or whatever the number is. So now he's got to not only score 30 points, but he's got to overcome their defense that has been consistently giving up those points. It's actually quite sad.
It is, and the thing is, it's. I mean, for a long time, I never put any of the problems. I don't put the problems on Dak Prescott at all. I don't think he's going to get the money though. I think the owner of the team, who's different from the owner of the Steelers, he's not going to look at Dak Prescott and go, "Look, $60 million means you should have already had a couple of rings already."
Well, I got news for you. This news right here, okay, with a guy, he's going to get $55 million. Okay, that being Trevor Lawrence from my Jacksonville Jaguars, which, by the way, is the biggest mistake right now as far as that guy is concerned. But not only now, does that set up for Dak Prescott, to get what people are saying that he should get? Absolutely. I mean, this guy's going to get $60 million. Now, I'm going to tell you the reason why. And it boils down to that signing right there of Trevor Lawrence is the reason why he's going to get the $60 million. Not because he deserves it or he think he should be able to get it. What happened is Trevor Lawrence just set the market. And he's playing on let's just say it, an average football team.
Okay, then let me ask you this then. Let's say Jerry does decide, okay, I'm gonna give him $60 million.
Ain't gonna give him 60.
Doesn't sound like ours a little bit, okay. But then who do you get rid of? Micah Parsons or CeeDee Lamb?
Well, that's a good point too, because that's a lot of money that they're going to be talking about, and it's going to be built up between 2 or 3 players, taking a big chunk out of what they're doing. And look what they did. But the difference between the Dallas Cowboys and the Baltimore Ravens doing what they did with their quarterback and paying what they did, along with some other players taking up a big portion of their monies. I'm going to tell you what the Cowboys have to do. You want to know what they got to do? They got to be the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys need to sign him for $60 million, sign Micah Parsons, and then figure out the rest of it. Because if you lose your captains on both sides of the on the ball, they're not going to win. They're not going to win.
Well, like the one thing you posted, the one thing you posted up earlier was the Broncos looking for some draft capital and wanting to get rid of Cortland Sutherland.
I got that. Yeah, I got that. That was one I actually.
But here's the thing. Okay, great. But here's the thing. So you want to go up some draft picks to pick up a receiver? He's probably not going to ask for as much money as CeeDee Lamb's going to ask for, but it's damn sure not going to be a number 1 receiver on a team like the Cowboys.
What? You know what though? In theory, I get what you're talking about. Cortland Sutton on the Broncos is a waste of his talent. I'm telling you right now, him coming out of SMU, by the way, just to let you know,
Mhm.
so he's a local boy. That's the reason why
Mhm.
that story is gaining some traction. That guy was a
Right.
superstar, and then he goes to a crap football team. He's been on a crap football team and not getting the ball compared to a football team that if he can get the ball, if you don't have a CD Lamb on your football team, you're going to Cortland Sutton. He could
But here's the
become
thing.
that
But
guy.
here's the thing. You can pick up in free agency a year from now.
Well, the question is, though, if you're going to build, you might as well start building now.
Or you could wait, like Jerry has. That,
Well, Jerry has.
I
I don't
mean, oh, I mean,
understand his thinking. Good
right,
Lord.
but I don't understand. That's who we're dealing with.
I know.
So
But that's what I'm saying. The Dallas Cowboys need to be the Dallas Cowboys of
if
old
you deal
because
with
they
the
would
reality
not
that's
let money
Sonny,
stop them
Sonny,
from doing what they want to do.
if you deal with the reality that's at hand right now, Jerry Jones didn't do shit during the off season. Didn't hasn't really done shit to say he's going to go all in. And yet, here we are now. Do we pay a quarterback $60 million who hasn't won really a playoff? I mean, he's won a playoff game, but he hasn't really won a playoff series. If it
Right.
were, here's a guy who's Tony Romo was a great regular season quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Loved him as a quarterback, but he does have the factor that he can win the big one.
Right.
That he could
Same thing
advance.
as that.
Yeah. So fine. I'm not saying you're gonna go find you a quarterback. I'm not even saying Trey Lance is that guy because he ain't. But we don't know that. We don't really know that about him because he hasn't really played. We know Cooper Rush isn't that guy. He's a great backup, but he's not. He's nowhere near a starting quarterback of a team that's going to go to the Super Bowl.
I see
Not
what
that
you're
we
saying.
know of. So, okay, fine. Dak is your great regular season quarterback, but for a team that needs to go beyond that, and again, I'm eating my own words when I say not one player is the most important, but you are a factor. You are a factor, and let's face it, when he went down injured, and they had Andy Dalton, what they do, 6-10.
Absolutely.
So with no fans, so I mean, it's incredible that
Who's the backup for the Dallas Cowboys right now?
Cooper Rush and Trey Lance.
Get rid of both of them. You need to go and get Ryan Tannehill as a proven quarterback is what you need to do.
Well, yeah,
Listen, Trey Lance is there's not enough of him to say that he's going to be the answer, especially for the Dallas Cowboys. They got him because he's sort of like a Dak Prescott, to whereas if he does go down, at least they can back it up with that kind of talent. That's the reason why they got Trey Lance, not because he was a former number one pick and he should have been the starter for the 49ers. And, when they did, then he got hurt and all that crap. That has nothing to do with it, more than the fact that he can play a Dak Prescott style of offense. That's the reason why they went out and got him. And it wasn't a bad move. I'm not saying it was great, but to consider right now as a starting quarterback, I don't think that's what the Dallas Cowboys are aiming at in reality for their future. And this guy's still young. How many games has he played? Maybe 5-6 games in his 5-6 year career? This guy hasn't had enough for where anybody can know if he's going to be good. And in the NFL, if you're not going to get in there fairly quickly and get get beat up and bruised within the first 5 years, you're not going to be used to it. And the first time it happens, it's going to be different. I think the fact Trey Lance has not been a starter is probably his problem. Or he'd be on another football team starting someplace because he supposedly had that talent coming out of college.
Can you picture him starting in the NFL right now and just where he would be, though? That's the thing, because if the Niners didn't want him, then they decided to go with Mr. Irrelevant as their starter and get to the Super Bowl for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they saw something in him that they realized we don't need him.
Right.
And maybe could have been his contract. I mean, he still has a rookie contract, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
So
your starting quarterback goes down, then you get Trey Lance in there, and even as the starter when they started the season, he got hurt. Then Brock Purdy. It's Colin Kaepernick all over again after they lose Alex Smith. In San Francisco, a guy. Wait, look at the upswing that to a Brock Purdy compared to Trey Lance. We're seeing more now with Purdy, who actually is playing, going, man, we got something here. And what are we going to do to keep him? Going to have to let the supposed golden boy go. This guy was drafted number 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken, when they had the opportunity and they grabbed him up. So he was considered a top 2 quarterback coming out of college, and he hasn't shown anybody in the NFL anything, mainly because he can't keep from getting hurt, and or the starting quarterback in front of him is not getting hurt. So that's where you run into that problem. And I think it's too late for a Trey Lance. However, I'm telling you, a team, I know who should have him right now. There's a team that should have him based upon what's going on, and what they got now is the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks should have Trey Lance on their roster right now.
I would have said Minnesota Vikings.
Or that's not even a bad pick either. But they're going to go. They're going to go with what they got going on.
Yeah.
So, but I agree with you. I think that those are 2 teams that would be perfect for a Trey Lance, because the expectations of those franchises right now are not Super Bowl. And if they are, you're just insane thinking it.
Can you imagine what it's like being a Minnesota Viking fan? You haven't even sniffed the Super Bowl since you got close in 1999, I think it was. But then you ain't been to a Super Bowl since the 70s. You lost all 4 of those.
Yes.
So, I mean, look, you talk about the Cowboys all you want about how they haven't won the big thing since 95.
Well, it's even worse for the Vikings.
way worse than
yeah.
I mean, it's worse. Like I can name on almost 2 hands how bad it is for other teams besides the Cowboys. But because Dallas is Dallas, we get blown up by being, the biggest, sorriest team in the league because we can't do nothing. It's incredible. I mean, hell, even the Pittsburgh Steelers. We talk about their winning seasons, but yet,
How about this? Trey Lance or J.J. McCarthy?
Well, wow. J.J. McCarthy's got more of an upswing.
Could you imagine which one? I mean, if
you got more of an upswing with McCarthy though, because he's young and he's new.
Well, and because you don't know what you're going to get with him until he actually plays a game, and there's enough film on Trey Lance to go.
There's not enough film, but there's film out there. I mean, once again, you're getting him when he hasn't touched the field really in 2 or 3 years now.
But he also shows that he's got the fragile Fred going on, which, by the way, was a bad moniker for Fred Taylor. But that being said, once you get the title of being injury prone, your stock drops, 30 to 40%, and then you can't get a starting quarterback job in the NFL, and you're relegated to backup Dak Prescott.
You get a backup job, and you beat them like
that's what I'm saying. You're backing up Dak Prescott, which, by the way, is still the best place for him based upon the offense that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be running. So,
and understand this. And this is a contract extension. He still has a year to play.
Yes.
McCarthy still has a year to coach. So, the thing is that, it's Super Bowl or bust for both these 2 guys.
Right.
For Jerry, which is not going to happen.
No, I can't see the Dallas Cowboys getting through a season. I don't know. I don't see 12 wins for the Dallas Cowboys this year. I don't see 10.
I said this on this show last week.
Yeah.
I see him 6-11. And let
me ask you this: if they end up 10-6 or 10-7 or 12-5, you have to. I think you have to maybe admit that they might be a good football team.
They might be a good regular season team, but what will they finish in the playoffs?
Exactly, but listen, you got to get there first.
Right, but the thing is, you already proved you can get there. but you got to prove that you can get there and do something.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys are different than most football teams. They're expected to get to the playoffs each and every year. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
the
but,
difference
but they're
between
also,
the
they're
Dallas
also expected
Cowboys
to
and
win a
any
game
others
too.
are that much higher.
But they should be more expected to win a game in the playoffs, not just get
Exactly. But if you don't get that, you got to get there. So you got to have Dak Prescott doing what he does during the regular season. Okay,
there. Yeah,
in order to get him, he needs to figure out his potential of getting better in the playoffs.
Let me ask you this question. Let's say Jerry Jones pays him $60 million.
He's gonna.
Okay, well, let's say he does. Let's say he gets hurt week 3.
Absolutely, that's a chance you take. You got Aaron Rodgers being that guy.
But here's the thing. You sat here and blew up Lamar Jackson for getting paid the money he's getting paid.
Hold on.
He had to prove you wrong.
But I also hold on. I backed off of that as well. Hey, that guy signed his contract, and I'll admit it. He totally did it right. And I admitted I was but I was a little wrong.
Okay, all right. But here's the thing. I've never faulted a player for getting paid the money he's getting paid. I fault the ownership for paying him. Because they're the ones who, at the end of the day, are the ones who sign the check.
In reality, that's what I'm doing, because I agree with you. If you can get your 160,
I mean,
congratulations, you snowballed somebody.
I mean, Sonny, I have a job where
Trey Lance, the Jaguar quarterback. Congratulations to that guy. But I'm telling you right now, that was the worst decisions for the Jaguars that they've done in years. And that's with signing Christian Kirk to that high contract they did.
All right. But here you go, Sonny. See, here's the thing. I work for a company that makes erasers. I want to pay you $20 million to come in there and oversee everything. Now, I would pay the other guy maybe $5, but I'm going to pay you $20. You take my deal, or are you gonna sit there and say, "No, it's a bad mistake for my company"?
I'm saying I agree with you.
So I mean, the thing is that, business wise, I don't think Jerry should do the move, because you're gonna be saddled with the court. You're gonna be saddled with a guy who, I'm not saying it's all on him.
3 years minimum. You got Dak Prescott for 3 years minimum.
Maybe.
So not maybe. If you're that contract is going to be at $60 million. It's going to be it's going to be at least $180 million guaranteed. That's 3 years at $60 million. It's $60 million. It's a 3-year minimum dedication.
It'll be a 5-year contract with incentives based, and 2 years you can back out of it.
No, 3. It'll be 3. I'm telling you right now.
No, I mean the last 2 years he can get out of it.
Right. That's
what I meant.
All right. You said first 2. So
you talk too much.
Yeah. But I listen. Thinking about what's going on.
This is why when I do this show, I get up and I take 4 Advil just to even function. Okay?
I thought everybody did that. Hell, I even do it.
I mean, the bad thing is it's not just you though, because I get up every day to go to work, and it's there. It's like saying hello. And the bad thing is, after about 10 hours of being at work, it comes back and goes, "Hey, remember me?" I'm like,
yeah. When you go to work, and you don't have to take it.
You're not going to amount to jack squat.
In case I didn't get that in today, I wanted to make sure I got it in.
You need shit.
Or I can do the small one.
Squat.
You need new shit.
Anyway,
come on, son. It's 2024.
That's what it is. All right, hey, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Let's hear from our sponsor. We thank Mint Mobile for their doing. I'm going to get more commercials, but these 2 are my favorite. We're going to roll through. We'll be back here in a minute and 2 seconds. We'll be right back.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Big Wireless has once again raised their prices. In response, we're bringing back our deflation promotion. The marketing department asked me to be as explicit as possible when explaining it. So here we go. Because we don't love f***ing our customers over like Big Wireless. We're bringing back our offer for f***ing unlimited premium wireless for only $15 a month. me to the moon and back. That's a great f***ing deal. Explicit enough, marketing f***s. Recently, and for no reason at all, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass f- Do you know how big their legal department is, face? So to recap, Mint is actually lowering prices on every plan to just $15 a month. And I will stay the hell out of the legal department.
Welcome back into the Couch Potato Sports Show. Sonny Clark along with the Podfather Trey Mack as we are continuing on in our. By the way, the fine co-host of this program went to the Dodger game, so so they staying at a hotel instead of driving back where he lives. They're staying there, so it's hard for him to get connection. So we'll see Cuervo next week. As he enjoyed the. By the way, the punk was over at the. In case you didn't know, he was over at the Chargers training camp. He sent me a couple pictures. I don't know if he put them out, but he sent me a couple pictures.
Training can't even go on right now, or is it just pre stuff?
No, this is like their training camp. The where they allow people to come and watch them and everything. You got a picture. Yeah, you got a picture.
Voluntary.
One John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh you got a picture with, so kind of
nice.
Awesome to see that kind of stuff as far as that is concerned. But I'll get that picture because it's kind of cool to see Cuervo out there doing what he's doing. There it is. Got that picture. I'll put it up here in a minute. But he's out there doing that and doing all the kind of stuff that he is doing. So we won't see him until next week. So we'll get ready for that. So outside of that, I guess the question is we move forward in the show. We're talking about we're talking about guys. Dak Prescott being the guy and things of that sort. So I found this one. So I'll ask you. I mean, since Cuervo's not here, we'll ask you. You're going into this season. There's your boy Dak in this top 4. Out of these 4, who do you want, and then rank them as far as where they are on this list?
What's the name of the quarterback for the Lions again?
That is oh geez. Yeah, I always
it's Goff, right?
Yeah, Jared Goff. I always
the one for the Rams used to play for the Lions, right?
Yeah, that's Matthew Stafford. Those two switched, and then Brock Purdy and your boy.
Okay. Well, since I already kind of know where I'm leaning on my Super Bowl pick for this year, give me Brock Purdy.
Wow.
Give me.
So that's the one that you would take. If you were starting, you take Purdy right now.
Yeah. He has something that none of these quarterbacks have. And I see it right now.
Early in his career, absolutely.
Well, I see a Tom Brady factor in him that I don't see with the other 3.
Wait, hold on.
I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. I'm saying I see a factor like it.
More so than
I'm not saying,
because I was going to laugh you out of the room, but that's okay.
No. I mean, I see a guy who like a real leader in the huddle that can move that team forward. And they tripped in the Super Bowl, but then it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2. It's going to depend on how hungry he is this year. But give me Jared Goff.
Okay.
Then give me Dak. Then give me Stafford.
Interesting. I agree
because Stafford's already won one. He's not that hungry, I don't think. You know, Goff, they had the Cinderella season last year. That's a lot
right.
to build off of. Dak has done the same shit for the last 3 years, so there's that. And of course Brock Purdy, he was there. He was
Right.
right at the dance and then tripped up in overtime. So I just think that that's what we're looking at for if I was going to pick one. Look, it's going to as a Cowboys fan, I hate this because once again I said this last week. Find me a loss that the Niners are going to get this year. They're going to lose a game or two or maybe three, but it's going to be hard.
Right.
And the rematch with the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm not putting a lot of stock in the Chiefs this year because again, been there, done that, and also they have played more football than any other team in the league right now. Because if you include the playoff games as well,
Mm-hmm.
they played those extra games as well. They're that much more beat up. Now, we're in the off season, they're all rested up, and I'm sure Travis Kelce's banging the shit out of Taylor Swift right now as we speak. But I mean, it's all good, right? So,
Hey, everything's good until you start losing.
but then it comes down to who's hungrier for it, right? And I'm leaning towards Baltimore. I really am because last year could have been their year. This year should be their year.
They got a taste of AFC Championship.
Yeah. So I think this year we're looking at the Niners and the Ravens for a rematch in the Super Bowl.
So if Lamar Jackson was in this list, you would take Lamar Jackson before you take Purdy?
Well, this is just a NFC, right?
Yeah,
So,
correct.
yeah. I mean, who would the other quarterbacks be in the AFC?
Well, no, I'm just talking about these pictures right here. If you add Lamar Jackson to this, would you have Lamar over Brock?
No,
Me
but I would
either.
have him
Okay.
over. I would have him over Goff.
See, when I'm looking at this, I'm taking Jared Goff for the last 2 years. If you're not paying attention, has been a friggin' superstar for the Lions. I'm telling
Oh,
you
he
right now.
has. He
And
has.
so that's the reason why I mean, listen, the Brock Purdy situation, I get exactly what's going on. As far as the team, I want experience. Now, granted, he's played well early on in his career, that being Brock Purdy, but that's not enough for me to get it figured out. First of all, you got to get to the playoffs. So right
Yes.
now, if on this list, I'm taking Jared Goff. I'm going Goff first, then I'm going your boy. I'm going to go Dak Prescott before I go to Brock Purdy, and then I take Stafford
Brock Purdy went
as
to
the
Super
last
Bowl.
part of it. Huh? I don't
Brock Purdy went to Super Bowl.
I can give a rat's fat hairy ass where he went last year. And
I mean,
because
he actually has playoff wins on his resume.
don't give a rat's hairy ass. And the reason why is I want to see Brock Purdy in his third year. I want to see how good he is. Now, hey, at the end of the day, okay, and it's happened many times, okay, where I could just say, I can say that, but right now, I don't want to.
Enough. Pissing me off. Stop it.
But anyway, that being said, I'm gonna go Jared Goff. I'm gonna go your boy. Then I'm gonna go Brock Purdy. And you know what though? Here the wild card in this is Stafford. I think you're right. Does he want it? Because if he has a real hunger to win, and whether or not he can get on the same page with his head coach, because let's be honest, there's been some reports that those guys for some reason are not getting along after they won a Super Bowl. That's the part I don't get, but hey, it is what it is. You got a situation as far as where Stafford, I think, can be a top 10 quarterback if his mind is going to be in the game and he's, like you said, has the hunger to do it. I do question the hunger factor on that.
I mean, it's something to consider. I mean, once again, it could also be based on the head coach too. If the head coach is sitting there, I mean, sometimes the head coach is only as good as his quarterback. Now, in some cases, the quarterback is only as good as his head coach, which I think worked for Kenny Pickett last year with the Steelers, because he's only as good as his coach, and his coach is really good. But look, until Dak does something, yes, I know he's a great regular season quarterback, and yes, I know he throws it for more yards than any other Cowboy quarterback. I get all that.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, it hurts me because the guy behind me was really good.
I know.
Okay. But he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, because back then it wasn't a passing league. It was still kind of a run first and pass.
I agree with you.
So, I get all that. But as someone who is wanting his team to move forward to an NFC Championship game, to a Super Bowl, until Dak can get past the divisional round, I don't know, man. I mean, it's hard to sell me on it. And again, I'm a fan. Like you, we pick our jersey, we wear it, and we're hopeful. But the problem about being hopeful is that, and there's a lot of people who are like this, it takes the realization out of, the realism out of what you're doing. People in Houston right now are excited about their quarterback, and they should be.
Absolutely.
But what if he has the sophomore slump?
Okay.
It can happen.
You're right. That can happen. But think about this. I want to throw this up there. You mentioned it. The Lions, look what they've done, and look at their lineup. Then look at that lineup so the potential is obviously there for the Texans on what they can do. And obviously the potential based upon the Lions last season, as well as the Texans last year. Listen, no one picked them when we were doing the divisions. No one had the Houston Texans doing anything. Then they added to the mix, so you put that on there. And the Lions, same thing. I think we were expecting more out of the Lions than the Texans. But looking at this year coming up, who do you think is who you got on this? Just based upon we see on the names there. Right now, everybody's healthy. They're just going through training camp.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you going to take to have a better season this season? Are you going to take the Texans, or are you going to take the Lions?
I got to tell you, I look at both those two teams, and I'm thinking they're about even with each other.
I agree.
And the thing is, the two teams I did pick to go to the Super Bowl this year, I can see one of these two teams replacing the other teams that's in their conference for that game. But
so you think the Lions are going to get past the 49ers?
No, I'm saying if the Niners choke in the playoffs and the Lions advance,
gotcha.
I can see that. If the Ravens, who have notoriously choked, can choke against Houston, as much as pay me to have the Houston football team in the Super Bowl, I could see it happen. I mean, I'd much rather see the Oilers there, but that's not going to happen. If any team ever deserved, that's why if any team in this league ever deserved a Super Bowl appearance, it was the Oilers, because they had their opportunity when they lost in the that huge point deficit they had up against the Bills that year in the 90s when the Bills came back and won it.
Right,
and then
lost in the Super Bowl.
Then Houston goes off and goes to Tennessee.
Right.
They go to the Super Bowl and lose it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
damn. Same colors, there you go.
Kind of, but not quite.
Interestingly enough, as far as those two teams, I think could be playoff, runs. I mean, looking at the playoffs, who are the teams that are not going to be there that you think that probably should? Because these two teams, I don't know if everybody thinks they're going to make. I think people think the Lions are going to make the playoffs, but will Houston make it? And who will they replace?
I'll tell you one thing
that might be in there.
I'll tell you one thing that's not going to be there this year. Be Dallas. Because I got them 6-11. 6-11 don't get you to the playoffs.
I don't know.
What.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just I hate to say this because it's going to help your team. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to figure it out. I don't know why I think that, because there's nothing that really has proof that this is going to work out and change.
Okay.
But there's just something about what the Dak Prescott issue is that is going to put them there. I don't know why.
Bring up the Cowboys schedule real quick. Let's go through it game by game.
Hold on. Let's see here. I got there. Well, no. We did that last week. I get what you're talking about. I agree with you because I'm not very, but where I hate about Dallas is I can be completely wrong about them when I'm pretty damn positive about them. Mm-hmm. And I'm right there with you. I agree. I mean, looking at paper, looking at their schedule, I don't see them winning more than 8 games at all.
I mean, look at the Eagles. I see more hope for them this year than I do the Cowboys.
And arguably, Dak Prescott was a better quarterback last year than Jalen Hurts.
Right. Doesn't matter though, because that was last year. Now we're talking this year.
So you think Jalen Hurts is going to have a better season than Dak Prescott?
Well, think of it this way. Jerry Jones spent $93 million on the offseason. The Eagles spent $553 million.
I get that. I see what you're talking about, but let's be honest. These teams are only going to go as far as Dak or Jalen Hurts is going to take them.
Right, and Jalen Hurts has got weapons.
Regardless who they picked up.
Right, but when you have weapons around you that can make you better, that's going to help Jalen Hurts out a lot more than what Dak got. Dak got Zeke. That's all he got.
No, he's got CeeDee Lamb. Listen, you want to...
Right now he has CeeDee Lamb unless he holds out.
Well, he's holding out, isn't he? He's not there, right? Yeah, he's holding out right now. But listen, I don't worry about wide receivers not going into those places unless they got a new quarterback. Outside of that, I don't worry about Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, except for the fact I've also heard rumors that they don't necessarily get along, and that's part of the friction that's going on there. So maybe he should be there so they can figure out that chemistry and stop having whatever problems that they're having right now.
I remember years ago, the Cowboys had Joey Galloway and Rocket Ishmael as a receiver.
Absolutely, I listen.
And
love me some Joey Galloway.
And they did absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
For their quarterback.
Right.
So, yeah, I think wide receivers is important if you are a solid number one, because you can get a number 2 and number 3 and upgrade them. Because once again, this is like having Stephon Gilmore as your cornerback. You're making the other guys around you better.
Right. In fact, they need to re-sign him at that lower price that they're going to get him for. He's not signed right now. And it's just stupid for them not to have him on the roster because they can cut him week 1 if they don't want him. They need to have him in camp. That's a big mistake. I agree with you there.
So the thing is, a solid number 1 receiver can help you build your offense with the other players around you, making them better.
Right.
If they have that potential to get better, because a lot of them don't. Okay? That's where I think the Eagles have that opportunity with the fact that their schedule, while they play the same teams the Cowboys play, except they got to play the Cowboys and the Cowboys got to play the Eagles. They play the same schedule basically.
One game that's different. That's all.
Yeah, or 2 games because they got to play them twice. But I think the NFC East is the Eagles for the taking this year. And again, Jalen Hurts he can be one of those quarterbacks that he has an off season, then he has a good season, he has an off season, he has a good season. He can flip flop back and forth and make everybody wonder, is this guy really the guy we really want? Because he's only good 50% of the time. He could be that guy. But remember one thing, he is a quarterback that did take the Eagles to the Super Bowl.
I get you.
And Dak Prescott has been in this league for how long?
6 years.
Let's say he's played for 5 because he was out for most of one season, all right?
Right.
has he even came close to anything like that?
I get
Again,
what you're saying, but
I mean, look, you have it wrapped up in your head. This is the way it should be. That's fine. That's cool. That's awesome.
no, wait. That's not true. That's not true.
let me finish. Let me finish. But the thing is this, though. Until he does something else, right now he has played the same game year in, year out. Great regular season, shitty in the playoffs. That part is on him. He's the guy who threw the interceptions. He's the guy who turned the ball over. Okay?
He's the one that gave up over 30 points in a game.
Well, no, I mean, he's the one who gave the other team an opportunity to put up 30 points extra in a game.
Listen. I'm going to tell you right now. The problem with Dak Prescott scoring over 30 points a game is because your defense sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the reason why his interceptions were at, which, by the way, he kept his promise. He didn't throw as many as he said he was going to.
Not until he got to the playoffs, and he threw 3 of them.
But I get it. But I'm just saying right now, from what I saw from Jalen Hurts last year, worries me. Not for just 1 year, and I think that's the difference on what I'm talking about. Jalen Hurts. I don't know where his head is, and if you also believe some of the nonsense that comes out in reports, more than not. Is that he's got a problem with his head coach, and they are thinking about firing that guy in the offseason after 2 seasons, after taking him to the Super Bowl. There's a problem somewhere that doesn't make me feel comfortable about Jalen Hurts and or the Eagles. And listen, you can say whatever you want about the Dallas Cowboys. They're in a horrible division of football outside of the Eagles. And if the Eagles are not going to be who they're going to be there, it's going to be Dallas winning that division. So,
or God forbid, it could be the Giants play.
Let's listen. Until I see more from that quarterback, they're going nowhere. Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback right now. I don't give a rat's fat ass who they pick up over there to try to help them do whatever they're going to try to do this year. Daniel Jones, they're only going to go as far as Daniel Jones is going to take them, and he is not good. The Commanders are the wild card in this division. In reality, depending upon what they're going to do with their new quarterback and their new head coach and all the changes that you depend upon hope for because of the new regime that's going in there to do what they're going to do. They're the wild card in this division, but to say that they're going to make the playoffs, I think that's almost an irresponsible prediction in reality. I know apples, oranges. I get what you're talking.
No, you can hope in one hand, sit in the other one. See who's going to go.
I'm really good at that. I know how to do it. I'm a Jaguar fan. Okay, I'm a Jaguar fan. What do you expect?
Right.
So
By the way, what if the Hulk Hogan 3-man shoe thing is like a good luck thing for the Jaguars, and you have to keep?
That would be cool. That would be cool.
But then
everybody walk out with the Hulk Hogan thing. I think I'd like it.
Yeah, every week you have to come on the show and have that there. As much as you hate it.
Yeah. By the way, put up or shut up is what basically Tom McManus's opinion about the signing extension for the boy Trevor Lawrence. But interestingly enough, we talked about Trevor Lawrence and Dak Prescott, the effects of that contract and what it does. There's also another guy that loved the fact that there was a great signing. Tua is also in there.
Yeah.
The Dolphins say they're committed to the long-term deal with him, considering the fact that he's a concussed, crazy guy. But again, last 2 seasons for Tua, he's got to be in the talks, not to win it, but in the talks of the MVP. And he is looking to cash in on it. And just as much as the situation with Trevor Lawrence, I believe they should do the same for Tua, which is pay the guy about $35, maybe $37.5 million and incentive lace that contract until he does something. Because really, in reality, they're not these guys. And let's just be honest, because he did it last year. They are not the Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson signs a big deal, gets him in the AFC Championship game. I don't know if we're going to get that from either A, Trevor Lawrence, B, Dak Prescott, or even this point, Trey Lance. So I get what your point is how much you want to pay him. I think what the Cowboys should do is the same thing that the Jaguars and what they should do with Tua. Pay the guy, go ahead, give him $40 million, incentive 20 million of it, and you make your 60. Get us to the Super Bowl. Hell, we'll even give you 65 or 70. Incentivize what is going to happen for a Dak Prescott more so than throw the money away. And this is where I get in. I know you say, well, don't worry about the money. Yeah, they got their money. Yes, congratulations. This is where management needs to make those correct decisions based upon where their franchise is. The Jaguars don't know if Trevor Lawrence can be the guy. Tua, he's got weapons more so than Trevor Lawrence. So him getting the same amount of money that Trevor Lawrence is going to be there is there. And Dak Prescott Dak Prescott is better than Tua. Dak Prescott is better than Trevor Lawrence. So in theory, based upon the new market set by Trevor Lawrence, he should get the 60 million. But at the same time, I think they should all win about 37.5 million, incentivize 20 million, and see what you can get from your guy and see if he can be your guy long term. And I think that's the mistake here.
I look at the Miami Dolphins and think, man, the last time they had a good quarterback was Marino.
Yeah, and here's the thing: Ryan Tannehill didn't get better until he left there. So it's just like damn. And here's your opportunity. I get why they would want to do that because I think Tua could. I don't like the way, and I've always knocked up on Tua how he got the job. Okay, all right. So I'm right. Which, by the way, if they do this, the pictures that they made with him being, sitting on the thing, staring off the thing, I used to have it there. They can make happen. They can generate the next big thing, but they do got to pay him. But at some point, you're going to lose Hill and Waddle, which, by the way, both of those guys are accounting for 55 million. Now you got to pay maybe 50 to him, to Tua. So 3 positions, you got over 100 to 110 million dollars, and 3 positions on the offensive side of the ball. You better do something defensively so Tua doesn't have to be the Dak Prescott and score 30 damn points a game like he did last year and still not be able to do and have the success that he's going to be. So there's a lot of things that Miami is going to have to do in the next year after, or if they commit a lot of money to Tua at the quarterback position.
Man, what a cush job that must be, though. You get to live in Miami, the quarterback of a team with no expectations whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they used to have expectations back in the 70s and 80s, but not so much. That must be nice.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're Tua, you're living.
Now, Dak Prescott's got a kid. By the way, he had a kid about a month and a half ago, wasn't it? 2 months ago.
Okay, well, are you gonna pay that kid extra money too?
No, I'm saying that Dak Prescott wouldn't work in Miami. He's married or significant other stuck to a single dude down in Miami. He wouldn't want to go anywhere else. That's where all the women are. Never mind, you're a superstar along with Tyreek Hill, who's got a significant other, maybe, I don't know, and or Waddle. I mean, geez, you got great guys to hang out with in Miami.
Well, let me ask you a question. Who's got better women, Tampa, Miami, or Jacksonville?
Miami.
Okay.
Miami. It's nightlife city. Single guy heaven. Is not Jacksonville, and it is not, it's Miami. It's not Tampa Bay. Hey, they got South Beach for a reason. That's where the single people go.
All right,
and it's kind of interesting because where guys go based upon nightlife is really only the NBA. In the NBA, it's big time. I mean, who wants to come to Dallas? What do we got here is nightlife. I'm actually surprised Kyrie signed here because what does that guy do?
He was traded.
Was he traded or picked up on free agency?
I think they traded him.
If they traded him, that's weird. Second of all, if it's free agency, I don't know why he'd come to Dallas. There's nothing to really do here. There's too many country bar hicks around here. So I mean,
okay. So, see, if you're living your life through the Fox to the Fox Sports thing, to where when they come back from football games, they show you like, we're live in Dallas, and here's like a big ranch, and you're sitting there going, where the fuck is this?
And we're at the place where they filmed Dallas in Murphy, Texas.
Yeah, and we're talking 1970s. I mean,
that was a whole studio out there just for that.
I mean, why don't you show the place where Tech Stadium used to be?
Exactly.
I mean, what the hell?
Well,
but I always get a kick out of that whole thing. Like, when the NFL comes back from their breaks, like, we're live in Dallas, and they're showing like this big old barbecue looking thing. Where they're going, yeah, like, we're not known for barbecue. I mean, but by the way, I mean, I'm going to go on a barbecue run here in a little bit, and I mean, it won't be today, but it'll be pretty soon. And I'll be hitting Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, all those places. So I mean, yeah, I get all that, but here's the thing: it's almost gotten so lazy now that we're like saying we are deep in the heart of Texas, we're deep in the heart of Dallas, Texas. I'm like, the game's playing in Arlington. So, show us Six Flags. It's right there.
There you go. Right now, they do all the time. We're here in Dallas, but the games are being played in Arlington, and all the landmarks are not everything but Dallas.
It's like, look at that big old Ferris wheel here in Arlington. No, that's called Fair Park there, pal.
Yeah, Fair Park. Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm going to see Hairspray on Friday. Over at Fair Park. Yeah.
Whatever level of respect I have for you just went right out the window. But go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, no, I have to admit, I like me some Broadway shows, but
yeah.
But by the way, all right. So
is John Travolta going to be there?
I don't think so.
That's not the real thing.
So, but bounce back seasons. These are guys, obviously, one because of injuries and another because of injuries. And then, okay, these guys are bounce back. These guys are injury prone guys. Now, I'm looking at these three, and I think these are.
I wouldn't call Aaron Rodgers injury prone. He had one major injury.
Okay, all right, yeah. So so injured guys. You're right. I probably should have said injured dudes. Jonathan Taylor's injured prone. Micah Fitzpatrick, I know he could be a guy that could get hurt. We'll find out this year. Out of those three guys, I mean, your expectations are obviously see where Aaron Rodgers can take you. But at the same time, if you pick one on the defense, you got to have Sauce Gardner show up again. You want to talk a guy shows up every year, including his rookie year, and made an impact on your football team to help them win when they had the opportunity. Even when they lose Aaron Rodgers, Sauce Gardner kept them in a lot of games because he is such a shutdown. But the Dallas Cowboys losing Micah Parsons, I don't know, Trey, this is not a good thing for this football team. I think they need Micah Parsons.
Well, they haven't lost him yet.
Well, they're gonna. If they're gonna have to pony up some bucks. By the way, he only said that he will go play for Pittsburgh. By the way, which is what he said.
Yeah. Which by the way,
Bryce was foaming at the mouth for that. Michael Parsons and Mike Fitzpatrick. Yeah, he's loving the idea of that. So
you can only play. You only pay one on them.
Yeah, listen, I'm tired of hearing the excuse he can only pay one. He's freaking Jerry Jones, and it's the Dallas Cowboys. Pay the luxury tax. Shut up and go win a Super Bowl.
Is there a luxury tax in the NFL?
Luxury tax and more fines up on top of it.
Aren't you penalized? Aren't you penalized like a draft choice or whatever if you go over?
You could, but speaking of that, I mean, you want to talk about a joke? I mean, you want to talk about a joke. This is the biggest joke ever. This detours the idea of, meddling into other teams, and trying to get guys to come to your team and all this other stuff. I mean, listen, if you're only going to pay a fine of $250 million or $250,000, okay, and you only lose a 5th round draft pick, I don't know why teams are not doing this on a regular basis, because who gives a shit about a 5th rounder? Who gives a shit about $250,000? If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'm tampering with everybody to get the guys I want. I mean, because listen, Jerry Jones will throw away $5 million at a drop of a hat. He could give a shit. and he can go get the guys that he wants. That's the reason why. And this is, and by the way, I meant to tell you about 30 minutes ago, and it just popped back. And the reason why the Dallas Cowboys are not the Dallas Cowboys is because Jerry Jones has turned into a wuss. He is not. I mean, he is not the most feared owner. He didn't care. He'd pay. He didn't care. He'd pay taxes. He'd pay the fines. He didn't care. Now all of a sudden, his son gets involved with it. Whoa, whoa, whoa! We got to slow down up on this. And that's one of the reasons why you see too much of it. And they say it's Jerry Jones, and I get that to a certain extent. But the changing of the attitude, I don't think is Jerry Jones. I think there's other people that are involved with that. They need to go back to Jerry Jones of the 90s and get the hell whoever they want in order to win a Super Bowl. And that's just what we haven't seen from him in reality. That's a personal opinion. And I might be wrong on that, but I think that we're not seeing Jerry Jones do what he wants because he's afraid. And I don't, I don't think it's him. I think it's everybody around him.
There's a lot of different ways I can go with this. I think he's afraid. I don't think his heart's into it as much as we think he should be.
Okay.
I mean,
I can maybe see that.
I mean, for what money you think that he's losing with the Cowboys, there's not really any.
Don't mean anything to him.
I mean, he's making money on college football. He's making money on having Tyson and Jake Paul have.
Which, by the way, Tyson got sick. I guess I heard. And
he had an ulcer.
They postponed it, or did they cancel it?
They postponed until November.
November, got it. All right, very well.
Yeah. Hey, the big showdown is going to be now on Netflix in September. Kobayashi versus Joey Chestnut in the hot dog eating contest, because both of them are banned from the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
So they're putting it together and putting it on.
It'd be on Netflix.
That's classic. That's classic.
No, but why not, right? But
by the way, I think it's a bad deal. If you're the returning champion, regardless what you're doing somewhere else, you should be able to take that seat and defend the championship. Yes, it's hot dogs. Yes, it's not a sport, but still, it's funny.
Have you tried to eat? Have you tried to do a competitive eating thing at least once?
No, listen. People.
I have. It feels like a sport.
I know you. We got the video of that. But no, I've never tried it. Now, that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. All right, I'm just gonna tell you if I can't get anything from the casinos, I know where we'll probably end up. We might end up at the Heart Attack Grill. That's where I think we might end up. I'm working hard to try to get that done, and that will be a blast. If we can't, I would love to be able to get into a casino because I like the casino atmosphere doing the shows there. We've done 4 of them there. You know, we're experienced. We know how to do it and everything. But if we have to do it and we can't get into a casino, I bet you a dime we're going to end up over at the Heart Attack Grill.
Y'all can have fun with that.
Yeah. So you're not going to go?
No.
Why not?
I don't have the kind of money for that.
Neither do I. I can teach you. This is a portion where I can teach you how to have fun in Las Vegas on a strict budget because
I can't get out there. That's what I'm saying.
Sure you can.
I don't have the money for a ticket for that.
I get you a round trip ticket for $70.
Yeah. We'll see.
Think about it. August 7th through the 10th. August 7th through the 10th. Think about it.
I might have a sore show then.
Huh?
I might have a sore show then because they always run the first Saturday of the month.
So.
Well, I mean, the network's important, sir. I mean, we got titles to win.
Man, I'm going to teach you something about priorities here. You know, that's.
I already have a priority them because then they are paying me. So
I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you to have priorities. But anyway, by the way, this is just so.
Yeah, I can't fathom. I can't fathom Las Vegas in August.
Oh, it's going to be hot mother.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hot
Ain't
motherfucker.
no question.
And
It's gonna be, no question. It's gonna be, that's why you got to
and
continually
I
drink
mean,
cold
I mean,
adult
I, I
beverage.
I walked outside my door yesterday just for a second, and the heat is so hot. I mean, it's so much. It takes your breath away, and you're going
I know.
like when you walk out the door, I'm going.
I'll
"Damn,
teach you how to do Vegas. I swear to God, I'll
I've
teach
done
you.
Vegas before.
No, I'll
I
teach you
did.
how to do it right. Yeah. But anyway,
Well, I
but
mean,
Cuervo's going to be there. He's going to be there, so that's already set
then,
and
then you're
everything.
good to go. You got you and your you and
I'll,
the
I'll even,
co-host.
I will even let you stay in my hotel room for
Why
free.
would I want to do that?
I
I,
that
I,
that
I
that
don't
part
want you
you
to sleep
that part
naked. No,
you're right. I get it. but
I
but
don't
the
want to see you.
offer's there. We'll
I think
figure
I see
out
you
how to
bring
get
up
you a
some.
round trip ticket for almost nothing. And
Listen, Sonny. I know what would happen. You would go to some little sleazy bar out there in Vegas, bring up some 60-year-old hooker up to the room, and say,
yeah, yeah,
"Say, turn
Sonny, I know.
around. You have to watch this."
No,
No,
no, no.
I'm good,
I'll
buddy. I'm
teach you
good.
how to enjoy Vegas on a budget and make you wish you could go next month. I'm telling you, I know how to do it and I know how to have fun
A
in Vegas.
discount budget Vegas trip.
I've done it.
I
I've done
mean,
it and I'm good at it. So I could teach you something. Anyway, that's in
you
that's
realize,
in August.
you realize how far I am from an airport?
So
That's kind of part of it.
you're closer to the Wichita. Are you closer to the Wichita airport than you
Well,
are
hell no.
DFW?
I'm closer to DFW, but I mean, I might be closer to the one in Oklahoma City. So, but I'm not sure they even have an airport. So,
we'll do some investigations.
their airport just runs flights when they want to.
The offer is open for you to come
I
experience the
know.
Couch Potato Sports Show in Las Vegas live and all that fun. So there you go.
It depends. It depends what got going on.
Yeah. So yeah, I know you got that heavy, schedule of a lot of things.
Sit home and fish. Go to Vegas. I mean, if I'm there with you, who I can't get a word edgewise, and everybody's favorite co-host,
and
if anybody else decides to show up as well,
I'm trying to get Bryce out there. Could you imagine all of us out there?
Can you imagine how much his flight would be? There's no round trip from his neck of the woods out to Vegas and back.
Yeah, I don't think Spirit flies from New York to Vegas. At least one way.
Plus, the last time I went on an airplane, I got introduced to Mickey Mouse, and I'm going to kill that motherfucker. So I mean, do I really want to risk that? I mean, look. To be honest with you, hold on 100%. As much as the trip would sound really cool for me to go to, I'm not that person right now. I don't have the funds for it, and I'm also right now. I'm trying to fix me right now, and fixing me means not being around
away from Sonny.
Well, no, I mean, I see this as fun, but being away from buffets, being away from all these things that would want to. I mean, I'm going to do a whole barbecue thing here soon, but that's just barbecue. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see where we're at. I mean, if I can't do it this year, then I'll for sure work for next year if we do it next
year. We'll see what we can do. Anyway, by the way, back to this. I just want to get back to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a joke.
He's being penalized for everything that every other team does.
I mean, this is a joke.
I mean, in proper contact with Kirk Cousins, he'd have quit touching players.
I
mean, you're gonna probably touch. You're gonna probably have contact with 3 players. You touch them the wrong way. That's gonna cost you a 5th round draft.
It's not that kind of inappropriate. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not that kind. But I mean, and listen. I guess I'm old school. I guess I'm just away. I guess I'm not in touch. But this means nothing. giving up a fifth rounder means nothing. Giving up $250,000 so a guy's a billionaire, it means nothing. Especially if you accomplished what you wanted to do, which in this case was to get the two guys that you wanted. So it only cost you $250,000 and a fifth rounder that probably won't make the team anyway. Shit, why not? And that's why I'm saying the Dallas Cowboys. This is the Dallas Cowboy thing. They should be doing this. Let's tamper. Let's go get your guys. Let's find your guys and get back to the Dallas Cowboys of old in the 90s where they didn't give a rat's fat ass what anybody thought about them, and they were winning championships. The problem is that they are not that same team anymore, and I don't know if they're capable of being that team anymore. So, you know.
Hey, I have a question.
Sure.
Are the Cowboys a publicly traded company?
Are they a what?
A publicly traded company?
I doubt it.
Because you would think with as much money as that, I mean, can a sports team be in can a team like the Cowboys, the Yankees, the Lakers, can they have their own public part in this world, or is it just all consistent with the NFL?
I don't know what you mean.
Meaning, like, okay, back when the WWE became a publicly traded company,
right?
Things changed with the company. They weren't a wrestling promoted organization. They were more of a business type, type situation.
After they became public.
Yeah. So, it's like, people saw a change in how the company was run when that change happened.
Mm-hmm.
People are looking at the Cowboys and saying, this is not the same team this was in the 90s. Now, granted, the talent's not there. They got to play one more game. It's entirely different NFL than it was back then.
Right.
But the ownership, the business of the Cowboys is run. It feels like it's run differently than it was then.
Clearly, I agree.
Clearly, you have the Jerry Jones and the Jimmy Johnsons, and Jimmy Johnson's kind of back in the fold now, which is kind of cool. But I'm just not
buying it.
I'm only buying it only since because Jimmy said it, and Jimmy.
I think you're froze. You're froze. Let me see if I went hold on. Off to the there we go. He's froze. I don't know. I wonder if we're going to get the Podfather back here. We'll do this. We'll remove that. We'll go up here, hit this button here, and we are back here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Podfather holding on, kind of hanging. He's still in pray mode. There he is. All right, so let's get him back here. There he is.
See, here in Oklahoma, we have to rub two balloons together to get the Wi-Fi going.
I think that's what it is.
Exactly.
So where were you?
One inch,
what were you saying before you froze on me?
Well, what I was saying is that because Jerry has more interest out there,
right,
than just the Cowboys. He's got concerts. He's got boxing fights. He's got UFC. He's got WWE. He's got college football. He's got NCAA basketball coming to there. He's got all these different opportunities come around his building.
Okay.
That I don't think the level of importance for them to be, and you would think it would be because considering the fact you had the Rangers win the World Series, you had the Stars get close, you had the Mavericks in the finals now, maybe not so much.
Yeah. By the way, the Stars played like.
Oh yeah, but they got into the conversation.
I know.
Further than the Cowboys have gotten in the last couple of years. So
and the Mavericks there too.
Yeah, I just said that. Yeah. The Mavericks are right now in the finals. We'll see how that plays out. But I just don't think the level of importance for Jerry matters. And the thing is, he can talk a big game all he wants, and at the end of the day, it's just talk. And at the end of the day, if he doesn't win another Super Bowl, he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
He's already exceeded the fact that his team is the most wealthiest team in the league. How, I have no idea, but they are.
$8 billion worth.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, he's still winning. Okay. He's winning the game of life, not so much the game of football. He's winning the game of life. All right.
With
And
other
I'm pretty
with
sure.
other avenues, but
Yeah.
hasn't he already said he really can care less about those other avenues more so than winning another
Yeah.
championship?
Well, when all you do is talk.
Or are you saying those are just words?
When all you do is talk. Again, he's a great promoter. My Cowboys are going to be up there. The fans are going to love it. I mean, it's always about
prime time, 8 times.
Listen. We went through 4 years of a president who couldn't hold a good conversation for anybody without saying, "And the best ever, everything." And the best. I mean, let's face it, the fact that he might be again. This is really scary. But
very,
But I mean, yeah, we're going to elect the convicted felon. Way to go. But anyway.
But yes, they are.
Yeah, but look, this is the world we live in with Jerry Jones right now, and when he dies, it ain't gonna get any better.
Well, let me ask you a question, and I'm just speculating because I don't know.
You come to me, that's awesome.
Well, I'm asking you, not that you have the right answer. I'll just ask
I always
you.
have the right answer, sir.
You don't have the right answer, but don't you think winning a Super Bowl? Winning another Super Bowl. I mean, you were talking about the money. We're talking about all this other stuff. He already has. He doesn't have another Super Bowl. I think it is important to Jerry. I think.
Okay.
So, how much more money do you think that he could make winning another Super Bowl?
Well, if it's that important to him,
yeah, that was what I just getting ready to say.
How many coaches has he gone through since Barry?
7, you said. Oh, since Barry? 5,
6.
right? 6, okay.
Well, see, Chan Gailey,
Wade Phillips,
Bill Parcells, Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy.
So 5, yeah. Okay.
That's 5. That's from 1997 until now.
90, yeah. Well, no, 96 because they didn't get rid of Gailey until 1 year after he won the Super. So
well, no, but Barry won the Super Bowl. Then he had one more year with the Cowboys, and I think he called it quits.
So it would be 98.
Be 97. Don't argue with me, sir. And
didn't they win in 96? I thought they won in 96.
No. They won the Super Bowl in the 95 season. The 94 was
just thinking the wrong. I'm a year off.
Yeah.
Day late, dollar short for everything.
First of all, okay, Mr. Jerry Jones. I mean, Jerry Rice played for the Bucks, but
yeah.
No, but look, he's gone through 5 other coaches. He's gone through how many quarterbacks? After Troy. I mean,
Quincy Card.
Quincy was one of them. You had 2 different Chads. You had Vinny Testaverde at one time. You had I think Reggie Collier had a shot at the quarterback at one time. So I mean, you've gone through. Then you had Romo. Then you had Bledsoe. Then you had Romo. Then you have Dak. Look, you're not the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins gone through a lot worse. They still don't have a Super Bowl yet.
Yeah.
Hell, they haven't won a Super Bowl since the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, they went in 80. They went in 84 and lost to the Niners, so they haven't really won anything since the 70s. So I don't. What he's doing with his team is not going to bankrupt him.
That's true.
And if he was,
but then you got to ask how much is too much. I mean, good God, right? I mean, how much more money does this guy need / want?
Well, apparently he found a way to take it with him when he goes.
Evidently.
So look, the legacy he has left in the NFL is unlike most other owners. Okay, he has done more to maintain more money for the league.
No question.
He helped negotiate the Fox deal.
No question.
There's a lot of things he did.
Matter of fact, they almost kicked his ass out because of that deal.
Yeah, but it's worked out, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it definitely knows how to make money.
So he's done a lot more good than bad. If the one bad thing he's got right now is that he just can't get his team over the hump because of his ego, then he's willing to eat that. I'm sure he is. Because he's had to eat it for a long time. It all tastes the same. So, I'm pretty sure that he's not hurting through all this. Yeah, he tells the people. What he tells the media is what the media has to print.
Right.
Because the media print, well, Jerry Jones said he didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And guess what?
And he goes on a radio show twice a week, which no owner does. You're lucky to get him to do it. He does it twice a week during the season.
Because your head coach won't go on one of them.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is though is that he's not hurting. Okay, the man's not hurting, and if he were to kill over today, he's still a Hall of Famer. He still has 3 rings.
Oh yeah.
He still has done so many things for the league, not so much the Cowboys, but for the league. That's at the end of the day, that's what his legacy will be. Yes, people around here and football fans like us will ridicule him for the bad shit.
That's just what we do. Yeah. We ridicule each other. Never mind somebody who's got all that money.
But at the end of the day, remember, whenever he tells the media, he's selling tickets.
Oh God, yeah.
Because that's a big ass stadium.
Because when he's like E.F. Hutton, right? When he talks, people listen, right? And that's just the. And it is sad it's that way. Don't get me wrong. I hate the fact that it is that way for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, the only success you got is Jerry Jones talking, more so than the success out on the football field. But at the same time, it should be, I don't know. And I agree with your assessment on what you see in the Dallas Cowboys. I just want to know how they're going to do it this year, how they're going to do it to where that can go screw it up in the playoffs. I don't know.
I just get there first. I don't think 6 and 11 are going to get there.
I've been saying about the Dallas Cowboys for a long time though, but just much as anybody else, I guess. But I just something tells me that we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. Now I know you don't think they're going to make it, and I'm a fan. On paper,
I'm a fan. What does that tell you?
On paper, but man, I don't know.
Look, a lot of things. A lot of things.
They're going to figure out another way to win and get to the playoffs and keep Mike McCarthy for another year. That's what I think is going to happen.
Well, they can't for another year because this is his contract year.
They'll re-sign him. Come on. No. If they have somewhat success and they make it to the NFC Championship game, which I don't realistically think, but if they do,
with Bill Belichick being on the sideline right now, do you think Jerry Jones is thinking about?
So you honestly think that's something that's going to happen? They're going to bring Bill Belichick into the Dallas Cowboys.
No, but
I honestly think those two freaking egomaniacs
shut up. I'll tell you.
Each other.
He shut up. I'll tell you.
Wait. I'm going to finish my sentence. Then you can tell me. Okay.
Yeah, but you keep rambling.
I know. I'm good at
it. Really pissing me off. But not here. Do I think it can happen? No, but then again, I don't think Bill Parcells will come here either.
I actually thought that was going to happen.
See, I never thought that would happen. I don't think Bill would give that much power.
I'm going to be right.
Well, I didn't think Bill would give that much power. I didn't think Jerry Jones would let go of that much power.
Well, here's the thing. I thought, and I was
enough. Sad.
But I thought Bill Parcells wasn't going to put up with that crap, and he ended up actually putting up with that crap. I really did not think he was.
I think T.O. was a final straw for him, though.
Say again.
I think T.O. was a final straw for him.
Well, I think I get that. I think I understand what you're talking about. So I get it, but. Although T.O. was not bad for this football team. I don't care what anybody says. But
he wasn't great for him.
He wasn't bad for him. I mean, look who they could have had. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. I mean, he was a marquee name, but he's also the guy. But he's also the guy that I think he did more harm than good for the Cowboys because of what he did before. He was a Cowboy.
Well, yeah, the star that was, and I get it. Matter of
Hey,
fact,
this
I
is
thought it
why
was
we
really
all this is
cool,
why we all remember George T's name. Okay, this is
but
why we remember him.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, well, 20 minutes left to go in the show. Talk about this. Aaron
Yeah, that's
Rodgers.
what
We are a must watch TV. The old NBC must see TV. Whether you love me or you hate me, they want to see him play. He's not wrong.
No.
And I don't know. I don't even know why that is. Now, Cuervo, on the other hand, could care less if he sees 2 minutes of this guy.
Well, clearly, look who he played for before.
But at the same time, I watch Aaron Rodgers.
Look, we want
superstar.
to see what he's going to do with a different team. We didn't get that
I
chance
do.
to see it last year. We got 3 plays and we got 4 snaps. 3 snaps, and then he snapped his knee. So we legitimately did not have a chance to see him do what he was supposed to do.
Might
He's
have been
still
the best
that
thing that ever happened to him.
he's still that same risk.
Yeah.
Okay. He's still that very same risk where he can drop back and all of a sudden crumble from with under. So it can happen.
Yeah.
But until then, he's not in camp right now, is he?
Oh no, he's not. He's developing fines for not being there for a quote unquote personal reason. Well, I'm going to tell you what that personal reason is. He just don't want to be there. And he's done this before, so it's nothing new as far as what you're getting from Aaron Rodgers. Nothing new. So Aaron Rodgers, and then Aaron Rodgers to then one Tom Brady getting a statue during the season.
Let him get one. You know what? That's the Ring of Honor. That's fine.
That's a goat. Deserves it. You know what? Tom Brady's statue should be out in front of every single NFL football team stadium.
No.
Every one of them.
No.
He's the goat. He is. And
now I'm all for retiring number 12. But
really interesting. So I wow.
I mean, for one thing, Cowboys never have another player with number 12 because that was Roger. But I mean, I can see that being like a Hank Aaron type thing.
Yeah, Hank Aaron. Mm-hmm.
But I guess. Yeah.
I love that day when they do Hank Aaron's number. Everybody's got the same number. I like that. Don't know why, but I do. Uh-oh. You getting a VIP text or something here?
No, my friend Presley, who I used to the daily grind with, she's 12 weeks pregnant right now.
Oh, so that's why you're not doing the show.
She sent me a picture of the sonogram.
Oh.
Yeah, she only got one kid this time, so she had twins last time. So, not mine. No, but no. She wished me happy Father's Day because it is Father's Day after all. I actually got a text from my youngest daughter, so that's the first.
There you go. Good.
So Harold was saying, and my daughters wouldn't give a shit, and one of them did.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was told to say it though.
Yeah. All right. Now, not much time. Let's get to this one. I find this a very interesting quote. Now, normally I don't care a lot about what players say about their situations or what they do. But knowing this situation, you do everything that you are asked, but you still don't get the results you want. Okay. I find that interesting how he worded that. Okay. And then every year you be close, but it's not winning. That was a big thing for me to a man. Y'all want me to come back and discount and lose. I don't know how I feel about that. So when I go back to the top line, you do everything that you were asked to do, but you still weren't getting the result you want. That was money. That wasn't a team statement, in my opinion. That was a money statement. And every year you're close, but it's not winning. He's not getting the money. This is such a cryptic quote because I get where he's coming from and what he's talking about because this guy has been monster for the last 4 years of his career. This guy's been monster. And they never paid him the right amount of money. And then they franchise tagged him, and of course he wanted more money than that was what's going to be on. The franchise tag for a running back today is almost insulting. But at the same time, I get what I think the quote was really more cryptic, and the Green Bay Packers gave him more money than what anybody else was offering, so that's where he went. That's what I think that comes from.
Can you put the graphic back up real quick?
Sure.
Because you added something to that entire thing that wasn't there that I think it changes the perspective of it. Right there in the middle where it says a big thing for me too, amen. You said amen. And just period man. Or just common man, whatever. So I'm just doing some punctuation issues with you. But
up
look,
yours, Mr. Grammar.
Look, I 100% agree with him. To come back at a discount for possibly less of the same results that he had before.
Yeah. This is a money.
If you're not trying to grow your team, that's why he won't come here. Because you're not trying to grow your team to make it better. Look at the teams that went nuts in free agency. Okay, Eagles spent over $500 million on their team,
and they're going to fire their coach next year,
possibly. But at least they took the step forward to do something. Whereas some owners, like the one in Dallas, sat on his ass and waited for the entire market to almost dry up and just pick the leftovers of those who can get a contract, like a Stephon Gilmore, if they pick him up at all. Maybe that's a smart move in some cases.
But the reasoning, but you know why he's doing it.
Explain to me, Sonny. Go ahead.
He's got to pay Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. If
right.
you don't have those three on that football team, you don't even think they're going to win. But if you lose one of those three, it's not even close. So I'm hanging on what's going to go on with Micah Parsons because I think Micah Parsons could go. I think the Steelers will pay him, and I think that's a very big possibility. And if the Dallas Cowboys lose it, I'm with you. They won't make the playoffs. They got it. I got it in my mind they're going to make the playoffs, but it's with CD, it's with Micah, and it is with Dak.
Well, first of all, they have all three of them this year if they play.
Well, okay. Hold on. I thought the Micah Parsons situation is that he is.
No. He's not a free agent. He still has 1 year on his contract.
Misunderstood my understanding. Okay, very well.
Yeah. Everybody who is currently wanting a new contract currently has a contract.
Right. But his chance. But would the Dallas Cowboys let him go before this season? Would they let him get over there? That's what I'm talking about. Because they'll end up letting him go.
First of all, if I had no intention of ever re-signing him, I'm shopping him on the market right now.
Well, I got news for you. He is being shopped. I don't think there's a question because all the reports are going out that Micah Parsons is not a happy man.
Maybe he's not, but we'll see. Look,
but he only paid for the Steelers, so
right. But he didn't have he didn't have no trade in his contract either. So, so
does he?
Look,
no trade?
No, not as a rookie.
Okay, I was going to say I didn't think you get that.
As a rookie contract, you don't have that. No.
Yeah.
So no, look. I don't expect him to go anywhere. I don't expect CeeDee Lamb to go anywhere. But I do expect Dak to go somewhere. I think Jerry is going to let Dak go and go see what's out there. Go see who wants to pay you that kind of money. Dak might go out there. Dak might go out there and say, "Okay, well, let's see, the Carolina Panthers want to pay me this kind of money, but they already got a quarterback. Do I want to go play for Carolina and get beat up? Or do I go to the Chargers, who had a quarterback, but he's flamed out because he sucks? And I can live in LA. I can live that lifestyle. I'm going to need $60 million to get through 1 year. So, I mean, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But not be anywhere near what the Chiefs or the Ravens or teams like that are going to be like, or God forbid the Bills. But or for that matter, Miami or Jacksonville. So okay, well, do I go there, or do I stay home here in Dallas, get paid $40 million, which is not a bad number to have. It doesn't put me in the same conversation with X, Y, and Z out there,
Right.
but then at the same time, if I win, I will get stuff on top of that. Again, these guys get money, incentives, endorsements, everything.
But if you're Dak Prescott, can you take less than what Trevor Lawrence is going to make? Can you take less than what Jackson and Baltimore took in reality, based upon the numbers and what has been done, and those teams basically being the Dallas Cowboys that can't win shit anyway?
Well, once again, you're taking a whole lot of money to do with your expectations already being at an all-time low. I mean, look, he's making more money than he knows what to do with it. All right. As you said, the whole thing with Jerry Jones, does he really need much more money? Does Dak need that much more money? But then, having said that, if an owner's out there willing to pay it,
right. Fine. But if you're the Dallas Cowboys, same question applies. Who do you go to? The difference between the Dallas Cowboys, though, and any other team in the NFL, Jerry will go get the starting quarterback or try to go get Patrick Mahomes, or try to get the next big thing that you think, oh, he ain't going nowhere. He's no, Jerry will go after it.
You know what? I kind of wonder. Did Dak have the hardest time living up to the prestige of being the Cowboys quarterback?
Well, that's a good, interesting point, because I was talking that same point not more than 2 weeks ago with a friend of mine, knowing who the Dallas Cowboys are. When you play for the Star, the expectations of what you are is a winner. But the problem with them not winning for over 20 some odd years, that expectation is unreasonable in reality. So it used to have a prestige on it when they were winning championships or going to making, movements into the playoffs. But since they've been so shitty for 20 years, all that it went down to the coaching. When they hired Redhead, Jason Garrett. That told me right there is that the prestige of the Dallas Cowboys were gone. When they hired Wade Phillips,
who by the way got himself a UFL championship,
Yep. But the prestige of those guys, and it started after Jerry left, or Jimmy left. It started after Jimmy left. The prestige of being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys went nowhere. The classic Tom Landry, the ego, that Landry had because of success, Jimmy had the same kind. But after that, they were not hiring, except for Bill Parcells. They weren't hiring the prestige of what the Dallas Cowboys are as the head coach. So I think that's where a problem of it. And then if it costs them less, that just makes it better for them to spend money elsewhere. So that's where all that comes from, I think.
I think it's funny how people like to dismiss Barry Switzer.
Who?
I like how people dismiss the fact that Barry Switzer was our coach for a while. Exactly.
Who?
You heard me.
Yeah, Barry Switzer was a college coach that got the lucky shot to be able to do what he did.
Right.
I'm not going to take away from the fact that he won the champion. Don't do that. But at the same time, at the time, Barry Switzer was not the most sought out
But
head coach in the NFL.
Think of what he had to put up with.
No, I agree. You got to have a certain temperament to be there. Like Jason
No,
Garrett.
Jason
Garrett had stock in chapstick. So he walked into
Okay.
Jerry's office and says, "Jerry, do you want vanilla,
Time out,
cherry,
time out.
or to where I can kiss
Time
your
out,
ass?"
time out. Look, he had to put up with Michael Irvin stabbing a guy. He had to deal with the White House. He had to deal with Deion
Wait,
Sanders.
hold on. Irvin, didn't he do that under Jimmy?
Yeah, but he got caught under Barry.
He got what?
He got caught under Barry.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
but he did it under Jimmy.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
By the way, Perlman's one that got that out of the bag. Which thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but he had to put up with the fact that he was neutered as the Cowboys head coach because he was smart to stay out of their way and let the assistant coaches do the thing. Smart. Yeah, that's how Norv Turner had a career that he had.
And even to a certain extent, Garrett just doing what he sold, brought in the money. He was head coach for what, 5 years? 5 years. 5 years for the head coach for Jason Garrett, who he should have been out there.
No. He was there for 10 years.
Was he?
Yeah. He had 2 contracts.
Years?
He had 10 contracts. He had 2 contracts.
Yeah, God. I mean, he did it right. Hey, congratulations. You fooled him for that long.
I mean, he's the one coach that actually got an extension.
That's right. You know what? You're right. I was thinking Wade Phillips. That's what I was thinking. Timing. But you're right. That was 10 freaking years. Hey, congratulations. You fooled them that long. That's just to get the guy paid $60 million.
Listen, I just want to hear the conversation that Wade Phillips was having with Jerry. Hey, Jerry, this is Wade Phillips over here. Got me a
before you did.
Got me a championship down here in whatever team I'm playing. I'm coaching over here. I don't know who they are, but want to know how y'all doing out there?
Why are you doing it?
So yeah, I mean, look, this year's gonna suck. This year's gonna again. I know what's gonna happen. The regular season's gonna happen. Cowboys will be playing whoever be going against. I'm going to be as real as I can. Do I think they're going to win the games? They're going to win? No. But obviously, injuries can happen. Things, inter-team turmoil with every team that we're playing against can happen. All this unlikely shit can always happen. But, man, I have a feeling we're looking into a boring year. A boring NFL year. Much of what we think is going to happen is going to happen.
Well, now that you might be right about it. I don't think it'll be boring by any stretch because if we think what happens, that's going to be interesting.
Like last year, the emergence of Houston was really kind of big. I remember we were picking one week, and it was Houston versus the Bengals, and everybody but me picked the Bengals because they're the Bengals. But then I said, you know what, this is make or break for Houston. And Houston went on to win it. And I was like, because they elicited, kind of that whole, this could be the team that we need to look at. Maybe not say they're going to win it all. We got to look. This is how the Patriots were when Tom Brady took over the team. They may not be the team to beat, but they're the team to watch.
Right. And they were that way with 2 years with Mac Jones. God, I'm still pissed off about the Mac Jones thing. With Ryan Tannehill available right now, I cannot believe they got him on that fucking football team. Just pisses me off.
Ryan Tannehill must get to know you very well. He's getting more action from me than anybody else. He's getting more action from you than anybody else in the league right now.
I'm telling you right now.
I'm telling you. You know what? He's put on his resume. Hey guys, y'all need a quarterback. Well, Sonny Clark out in Dallas thinks I'd be a really good addition. Who's Sonny Clark? Oh, dude, I mean, he's
only the hardest working man in sports radio.
He's the hardest working man sitting on a couch calling football games. Yeah, you should really get in touch with them.
I'm not here to do that, says Justin Fields on returning kicks for the Steelers.
Why would he do that?
Same thing with Lamar Jackson. When Lamar Jackson went to Baltimore, they wanted to put him as a wideout, or actually, that was before he got there. And he's like, "No, I'm not interested. I'm a quarterback." And now I've always given Lamar Jackson credit for that. That's always fantastic. That feeling, that thinking.
I remember
And
back in 2001 or two or whatever it was. There was a quarterback that came out of I think Nebraska, named Eric Crouch.
I remember him.
He got drafted by the Rams, and the Rams
Right.
will make him a wide receiver.
That's
Now
yep.
at that time, I ran a sports card store in Carrollton, Texas, and I had picked a box of this that had all these rookie cards in them, and one of them was an autograph jersey card of Eric Crouch, number 2 of 10. Put on eBay, I got $200 for it. He retired the next day because he did not want to play. He did not want to play in a wide receiver in the NFL.
There you go. Hey, some people have their priorities, So
yeah. So,
but speaking of the Bengals, kind of wide receivers. Yeah, Ty Higgins now signed, franchise tender. So I think that's around 17 million, if I'm not mistaken. We'll find out what it is. But here, there are 7 other guys on this football team. They have to have. I mean, I was looking at these names, and these are guys that are trying to kind of be a cornerstone for this team to make them as good as they're going to be able to be, especially, the long snapper and their kicker, McPherson. These are guys that are contributors, but at the same time, we need to get a spotting of their quarterback. We need to find out, is Joe Burrow's going to be the guy? And I think this is a make or break year for Joe Burrows on where he is, because this guy's contract next year, he's going to be the guy that they're going to be paying. Actually, no, mark that. Didn't they just pay? Yeah, they just paid him some big bucks just on a renegotiation, which was some big bucks. I'll find out what that is. But man, the Bengals within the division, they still got to battle Baltimore. I mean, so that is huge. Pittsburgh, if they decide to get their heads out of their asses with their re-signing of their new coach, got a new quarterback, all this stuff, 2 quarterbacks. So, and then the Browns, I don't know if they're a dark horse or not. So you looking at that whole situation, I think it's going to be a very interesting division of football, like it always is. The AFC North is just one of those divisions of football. Just it actually defines NFL football in my look. So all the teams going for a ring, and I don't know if the Ravens are going to be the ones that are going to do it. I don't know. We'll find out if Lamar Jackson can do it yet another year in a row. And the Bengals, if we get a spotting of Joe Burrow, get Jamar Chase, and obviously T. Higgins, getting his money, at least as the franchise type, it's going to be huge. That division of football is going to be huge.
Have you seen Joe Burrow's haircut lately?
No, I have not.
Yeah,
why would I care?
He's not going with that haircut.
I guess I'll have to look that up on my other side. By the way, we were talking last week. Calvin Johnson and Julio Jones. You remember that brief conversation?
Yeah.
I told you I'd go out and look for it, and I found it. And when you look at the numbers and everything else, to ask if Julio Jones is going to be a Hall of Famer based upon Calvin Johnson being a Hall of Famer. Now, granted, these are a couple years back and the numbers are lower, but man, the number differences are really actually kind of huge in reality, except for the touchdown receptions. Based upon the games that were played. Calvin Johnson 94, or 135, and Julio Jones 166. So as far as that is concerned, that's about the only thing I see as far as a difference in reality with them. Talking about is he Hall of Fame bound? I think that's about the only difference. So I think I see Julio there.
I know what's more staggering: his stats or his hair.
Why, you can keep it up that high? Is that what it is? You know,
I mean,
how do
yeah,
they do that?
I mean, I
That
think
take a lot. That take a lot of hairspray. I don't know.
that's Viagra hitting you right there in the wrong head.
Anyway, we were talking about this before we came on.
I mean, hold on a second. Same thing about this. He had to go pose. He had to go pose for that picture, so he knew what he was working with.
He knew it was straight. He forgot to comb it for that picture.
No, I mean, he's like, yeah, I mean, the photographer saying, "You good?" Yes, sir. Okay.
Were my eyes shut on this one? Not my hair. Don't worry about my hair, but were my eyes shut?
This is for Pro Football Focus, but okay, here we go.
I don't know how they get it. Yeah, interesting. Super Bowl rings we were talking about. Pretty. Oh my God. Pretty. Back to back, by the way. Back.
Yeah.
So pretty. Kind of had the same look as the opening up the ring. I never seen the ring open up before. I seen the Rams. They had the same thing. They opened up and had the pretty stuff on the outside. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it is. I like that ring personally more so. That I mean, this one looks more clear because everything's so white. If you put that up against a white background, that's beautiful too. So
why it's got to be white? Why got to be why gotta bring race into it? Huh?
It wasn't the race; it was the color of the background.
If
you put that on white, it looked great because this one was on white.
I know myself.
Anyway, I can't take you anywhere, but it is what it is. God, we did 3 hours. What did we talk about? Nothing. I don't know if we really
imagine you had to do the show on your own.
Well, you want to talk about nothing. I'm really good at that by myself. Yeah, we just doubled down with you.
So you're welcome, sir.
Yeah.
I did you a solid here. Okay.
You did me a solid, yeah. So, but
by the way,
yeah.
Go to Hobby Lobby. Get these little
we got the lemon ones. We got the lemon ones.
I got the root beer ones. So good. I've been snacking on that the entire time.
They are good. And I had some root beer. See, the great thing about those is that you don't eat those consistently. You have those every once in a while. So that bag will last you about 3 or 4 months. So
they should have bought 3 of them.
Yeah, but man, it might last you the whole year. So, by the way, if you're in New York, go catch these guys in Times. They're in Central Park.
Are they paying you?
In an hour and a half.
Are they paying you?
No, you know what? I hate new music so bad. I mean, I really do. I hate new music. And this is the first thing that is original. It's not them stealing music from other people. It's just original music that just kind of spoke to me. So they're
I'm starting to use the KC too.
If you're in New York, go check them out. Hey, Bryce, you're in New York. Go catch some. Go catch some Shepherd at 2:30 in Central Park. I wish I could get that on video. Like if they were doing like a videotaping of it, I'd love to see it, but they're not. I looked everywhere anyway and couldn't find it. So, but I would watch it if it was there. So they're good people and I like them. So that's the reason why. So, but all right, that's it.
But first of all, Bryce, if you have Sonny send you to a concert. No, there are no black people there.
Well, they probably won't. They probably won't.
So he doesn't have your best interest at heart. Sir.
Maybe I change his opinion. Who knows? Maybe I can get him into it. You never know.
Hey, Bryce
is open-minded.
I like that kind of music. It's so good. Yeah.
It's pop music. It makes me feel like I'm 15 again. Well, all right, we're out of here, everybody. Be good. Catch you next week. Last week of this, thank God. Anyway, it was last week of that. So we're out of here, everybody. Take care. Hasta.